Hey man, get them likes up. We ain't started yet. We ain't starting till the likes up. Get them likes up. Yeah, and we got company, so don't get to showing that. Don't do that. We got company, so don't get to showing that. Okay? Y'all act like we got some sense over here. My guys in chain. They asked the judge, can you let me free? Prosecutors ain't on her. I'm around an agent Broner. Even though I'm lying, even though you lying, tell me that you love me. We both know that ain't true. My bro love me by the spirit. Yeah, we both know that ain't true. I be lying that shit did hurt me. Mama can't do nothing if that bitch ain't birth me. Recipe my nigga died off a perky. Tell security, hurt me. Violent borrow some money. Okay, how much you need, bro? I'ma go and fuck it out. And only call when I need more. My God, Jane, what's up, man? Y'all ready to turn up? Damn, what happened? Well, fam will be back, hopefully. Hopefully fam ain't scared. It's been a while. Ah, yeah. Shan's birthday was yesterday. So that's why we ain't do it. We was gonna do it yesterday. I ain't brushed my hair. Fuck it. I ain't brushed my hair. He said got the fresh cut. Nah, shit, nigga, I ain't brushed my hair. Matter of fact, let me brush my goddamn hair. Y'all get the likes up, man. Let me get my guests back. All right, y'all. My bad, man. That was Tree's ass. I was hollering at. This how we gonna do it. We gonna turn up. Look, man. I know this is a hot topic. You feel me? You know me. You know my game. I like to let everybody go first. I like to let everybody get their row out. You did. Go on, do your thing, and then I'm gonna come and close the curtain. Now, y'all see, I got my point guard in here with me. You know. We in here. We got the goddamn godmother in here. Shout out to you new niggas. Who don't know who this is. Say BCU to the sun dot in a real end zone way. Sell mofo Blackfoot. What it do? Yeah. I got my point guard in here. I see them snipers, shrugs, them, all them niggas down there. I see them niggas. Now I don't hear no echo, Shan. You good? Say something.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No echo. We good.
Okay.
All right. So what we gonna do is we gonna jam. We gonna turn up. We don't get too ratchet. All right, but we do need y'all to hit the like button, share the video. All right, get this out. TikTok going crazy, Twitter going crazy, everybody going crazy, YouTube going crazy, and they this topic of reparations that came back up. That's and I'm not saying I don't want niggas to get. I'm pro reparations, but I'm not pro the way niggas are going about it. You dig? The way niggas are going about it, you ain't never gonna get it. And all they had to do was give us them social security checks. Shan, you heard about all the money they stole out the damn social security check. and yeah, nigga told us, chill out, I'ma break y'all out. We ain't heard nothing back from them niggas. Last we heard, they didn't Trump and Elon and fell out. And we ain't heard nothing about our motherfucking money they done stole from us. We posted got a cut. Trump got a new house. You know what I do like Trump did? Trump just Gavin Newsom got a railroad or some shit he trying to run through the Trump called it the railroad that's going to nowhere. So yeah, he cut the funding. Yeah, that nigga don't like. Boy, they need to lock them in a room and let them nigga go one-on-one. Yeah, like a motherfucker. We got a lot of people out there saying shout out. We got a birthday twin. Love say shout out to my birthday twin, Shan. Green Pill, Shan. That's a Queens nigga. / friends nigga. Yeah, who else we got in here? I'm in love with the coca. They go Shay. Glad to see you again, Shan. Shay hit me.
Hi.
I want y'all niggas to talk about this topic. Top guy. I say me and Shan gonna come tomorrow to their birthday. I got you, Shay. And your shit coming out tomorrow, so we good. Nigga say line up the fade for the African Union. Scotty in the building, LA, Los Angeles. Creekside say happy birthday, Shan. Shay said there she is. Yeah, you got the godmother in the building, man. Pressure. So they say, ooh, she pretty. Who that? Ooh, let me get out y'all business. She say, what I miss? Happy birthday. Damn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some to you. Not finna come on here and take over my motherfucking show. God damn it. Yeah, I listen. You ain't finna come on here. You getting too much motherfucking love. Everybody here is gonna feel like the old times. Yeah, I see Shrug them down there. Sim say, happy B-Day, Shan. Shrugs, Shrugs gonna come too. He got champagne, cake, candles. This nigga trying to blow out the candles. Then they trying to blow out the candles, man. Shrug, sharpshooter, man. Goddamn. He said, wasn't it just Shan's birthday? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. What's up, Shrugs?
What's up, Shrugs? We got this Brooklyn, New Yorker in the building. And
Y'all
You want
showing me
to
so much love. This is so amazing. Oh my
come on, man. This
God.
BCU. Stop it. This BCU, stop it.
Y'all got me cheesing. I can't.
Hey, you know what? Hey, y'all, man, my sis just dropped her first book, so she's officially an author. Okay, okay, yeah, man, we gonna clap it up on there. Let's get some flames down there. Uh, seeing it through. Yeah, I had to hear that shit and this and that, and I'm going crazy. Should I add? Should I take out? And yeah, you know that whole. But she got through it, and it's done. So let's talk about the book before we get started.
Yes. So once again I want to say thank you, Top Cats, and of course the BCU family. Always been love on this side. As some of you know, I have been working on my project called The Velvet Door, and it's a very sentimental project for me. It kind of details my awakening, not just in my ancestral journey, but even in my womanhood, in my spirituality, and just trying to take in everything that I see around me in this world that's ever changing, but always ever the same. So I kind of wanted to make my first book, which is called The Velvet Door Volume One, just to kind of just give people a peek inside, my world and who I am. And I'm definitely making this a series where I will be diving deeper into the metaphysical side of everything that's happening, and some of the stuff that we're talking about tonight, with this neo-colonialism that we are dealing with right now. So yeah, the book it will be out tomorrow, and I really do look forward to having you all, just kind of journey with me, because Top Cats, he's definitely pushed me in a direction that I was a little nervous about in the beginning, but I made it here, and now I'm an author. So I thank you again.
Yeah, weren't you a squad leader or something like that?
Yeah, squad leader.
Yeah, weren't you a squad leader? Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
you have
go.
your clubhouse, you have me all these platforms with these people.
Goddamn right. Took you to the big leagues first day and first day. Guess what? We got a special yeah, we got a special ops mission on your first day. Yeah, you jumping out the mother, you parachuting out. So yeah, cowboy the fuck up, lace up. We going to go get it. And we took down the biggest and the baddest. We fucked over all of them niggas. And we're here at a conversation about reparation. I could be disrespecting and calling them our kids, but I'm not gonna do that, even though it's true. I'm not gonna do that. Urban say happy solar return. Tank say happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Now y'all can support by going to go get her book on Amazon. Is it out yet? It come out tomorrow, you say?
Well, it is out, but I'm not putting a link out till tomorrow. So tomorrow I will share the link. You guys can follow me on Instagram at the underscore velvet door, and I'll have the link up there where you can also support the book, and as well on Twitter, the Velvet Door on Twitter as well.
Okay, I saw something before we jump into this. Long Island, New York in the building. Shinnecock Post Tuck.
Amazing. Yeah, that's
Huh?
my jam. That's my
You ain't got the Post Tuck in here. Let them know. Let them know about the Post Tuck.
Yeah, so shout out to Bando Ballers. Yeah, the Puspatuk, Matinikok, Uncle Chong, Matok, I'm sorry, Montauk, Shinnecock. We all the sister tribes on Long Island. And I think I've already expressed this in the past that my families are one of the first recorded Black families, but they were definitely recorded talking about their indigenous and Indian history in the Port Washington Public Library. And I always invite people to encourage you guys to go to the local libraries and listen to some of our stories. So yeah, it's really good to see that the northeastern tribes are finally, kind of getting a little light shine on them more. And we're still here. We still
Shout out to Topcatz, goddamn it. I'm bringing y'all back. Welcome down Ram in the
yeah.
building.
Thank you, Top Cat. Thank you to you.
Yeah, we showing love to the. I ain't know that much love up there. Big Dad say happy birthday. You know, this BCU shit. Yeah, so we're here. What we here to talk about? Let's see where all of this started. I wanna play some first, and I hope they don't flag me on this. But we kind of like predicted this shit in Tupacalypse. Ain't that what Tupac said? So we go from Africa to Wakanda, future of Black America with Shan. So this just was the boom, boom, boom. This was like a little promo.
Root out systemic racism in our criminal justice system and to enact police reform in George Floyd's name.
Afternoon, ma'am. Do you know why I pulled you over?
According to recent research, within 3 decades, Africa will be home to some 2.4 billion people, more than double today's population, and the majority will...
Will robots inherit the earth? And he says, yes, they will, but they will be our children.
Last week, the singer Akon announced that construction will begin in early 2021 to transform the city into a futuristic place called Akon City. It's so futuristic that it will look like a real-life Wakanda.
All right, so we talked about this topic about 3 years ago. What were some of the warnings you was putting out? I know you was one of the early advocates on the 2063.
All right. Yeah, we were. Yeah, I kind of was talking about that, and I actually asked some of the Africans that we met that were even continental. What did they know about it? Which it's funny, a lot of them didn't know, but a lot of them did have investments or want to have investments in the technological advancements that will be coming through Agenda 2063. Actually, when I read Agenda 2063, it has nothing in there that will preserve or protect the indigenous peoples, even of that continent. It actually wants to erase anything that deals with indigenous people there. So, it's a lot of these advancements and these different things and agendas they're pushing out. It's really just to put us deeper and deeper and deeper into this algorithm where we're pretty much controlled, by machinery in the future. So that was where we're kind of heading, and they're looking to find ways to get that young African population, which is going to be majority of the world's population very soon, trying to get them to be more subservient and underneath this fifth industrial revolution that we're coming into.
Okay, so now we find ourselves here today with this African Union, and a lot of people, they running like a chicken with their head cut off because they trying to figure out, first off, who is the AU. A lot of people never heard of them. Not only that, but they want to tap into the quote-unquote American market. They want to tap in with these Indians over here, and they want us to help them. They want our money to help them. They have even went as far as to ask for reparations on our behalf. They want the reparations. And I'm going to say this, out of all of the reparation movements that has happened, they may get it. That's probably why I'm here today, because they have a better chance to get it than niggas in America with these reparation plans and ideas. And no knock to nobody, but it has been bad leadership. Now, I seen Yvette Cornett come out, ADOS, they was on the whole reparations joint, but she came out and she just recently went at the Pan-Africans. She spoke on this topic. But my game is this here. Shan, do you remember when Biden was running? And do you remember ADOS and them reparation niggas advocating our people to vote for them? You remember those days? You was around those days.
I remember on Clubhouse, they used to say they were campaigning for the first 100 days of Biden's presidency. So they said within the first 100 days, they were aiming to get Biden to address reparations. Well, that seat at the table never came, and they just kind of turned into FBA after that.
Well, FBA kind of, walked over there. Really, I'd say after Yvette and them split, old boy that started it, it was money. They split over money. Can we tell the truth? Because I was sitting right there. Shan was sitting right there. It was over money. Once the Democrats got in office, Biden made it in office. Like she said, they was pumping the first 100 days. One of the things they were saying is that right now is the time the Democrats are going to, I think it's time. They're going to hear us out. We're in a new day. All this talk, right? And back though, and so it was a lot of chapters of ADOS, which we used to be around them. And a lot of them got put out their post, fired, or whatever you want to say, because they wanted in on that money. They wanted some of that ADOS money, and Yvette and them didn't want to share. Let's just keep this shit real before I go get one of them niggas and bring them on here and let them tell you. So we'll start this off. I guess we'll start with Akon. Sis, we'll start with that since that's what we were.
All right, you want to start with Akon? Yeah, we can start with Akon, because he was one of the ones that was pushing the Back to Africa movement, investing in the economic development opportunities in Africa. And yeah, we about to see that, a lot of scamming going on.
A lot of scamming going on. Damn, what my shit fucking up? Okay, let's rock. All right, there you go. You can turn up. Can you see it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it now. So yeah, we got to hear on the Black Enterprise about the failure to launch Akon City, which was scrapped after the rapper allegedly abandoned the project. It says that rapper and millionaire Akon's plans, Akon City will no longer be a reality. The Senegalese government will now build a resort in its place instead. That's interesting.
Y'all come lay by the pool. Y'all come on out here and lay by the pool. I know y'all want the futuristic city, Wakanda. That's what they told they want. Wakanda.
Yeah.
and now y'all can come lay by the pool. Yeah, man, let your hat on and come lay by the pool, fam, and stop acting like that. We get y'all a city one day. All right. The original vision, a 6 billion real life Wakanda powered by Akon cryptocurrency, Acorn, failed to materialize. To date, the property has only built a welcome center. In 2024, Akon was warned that his failure to meet the deadlines and payment schedule to the tuition agency SAPCO could result in the and the land returned to the state control, and the resort project will prioritize overnight tourism and hospitality. Anybody go support that shit out of their goddamn mind. What do you mean the resort project will prioritize overnight tourism? Anybody go there out their damn mind? Man, my computer fucking up. All right. Well, let's get into this work. So I've been hearing a lot of people talking, like I say, a lot of it to me is emotion. We got to take the emotion out of this shit, right? A lot of people who told them to speak for us and this and that, and where did this representation come from? And I was sitting back like, and this, mind you, this is less than 24 hours. We had less than 24 hours to do this. But where did this come from? And a lot of people that I'm hearing talking about it, shout out to the FBAs, But FBA fam, y'all are helping. Y'all are hurting more than y'all are helping. No disrespect, but y'all are hurting more than y'all helping. Why I say that? Because the only way they can get you in this box, homie, if you banging black. They only talking to black people. So since they're talking to black people, and you still aligning yourself with black, which black is just a political status, you don't own black. And I think I wanted to go into just a little history on black. How did you end up in this? Because yeah, you can say when we talking about the African Union and then want to tap into the our piggy bank over here in America, well, and you say, well, we didn't sit at the table, we didn't agree with that. Well, y'all didn't sit at the table and agree with black, and y'all took that. So that's when you fucked yourself first, because black came out of what is called a third world coalition, where niggas in America got together and said they was gonna get together with niggas in the island and niggas in Africa. Now I want to call to the stage a primary source, somebody who was there. All right, let's walk. Somebody who was there.
I remember him talking about white supremacy crap. So you're into white supremacy, not you, but him. And you want to say because white people don't define black in a textbook or in a law book, you think it is irrelevant. That is the dumbest crap I've heard in a long time. We chose to call ourselves black. It started about 1966.
Can you break it down for us?
1967. And
he say we chose to call ourselves black in 1966, and in 1967,
we switched to Afro-America, and then it went back to black, and then somewhere in the late 70s, Jesse Jackson popularized African America, but he really didn't even start it. He just popularized it because it popped back up again. We had meetings all over the United States.
They had meetings all over the United States about if we gonna call ourselves black. Y'all weren't there. So what is this black shit you niggas banging? And I'm saying if it wasn't for this black shit, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. They can only do that to a black nigga. Now, I'm gonna keep it gang. If you're black in 2025, that means you don't know who you are. All of the stereotypes that come with it, you don't have no name, you don't have no culture, you don't know where you from, all that victim shit, you're a slave, everything packaged up. Because if you don't know who you are, well, they got somewhere for your ass to be, and that's on the plantation. Let's walk.
We had Panther Party meetings with the Nation of Islam, and we decided to call ourselves black.
Are you niggas in the Nation of Islam? You nigga Black Panthers? These other organizations? No. Your mama, daddy, grandma, and them, they was at home or at work. Y'all was in the hood posted up. Y'all ain't know what these niggas were doing in the back room. Not at all.
It started developing. I was in college. I was right there on the forefront when we decided to start calling ourselves black. And then
this is my primary source, my star witness. He was there. Very important. Not you niggas. So don't come talking about, the AU speaking for us. We ain't had nothing to do with it. Yes, you did. When you accepted black, you accepted whatever the niggas that came up with that ideology, that paradigm, you accepted everything that came with it, homie. So you choose to keep the black attached to your name, even though black has been a curse for niggas.
We sort of, for a number of reasons, because of what we call third world unity, we started calling ourselves Afro-Americans. White folk didn't pick those terms out. We did. They were still trying to call Negro.
But Judge, wasn't the student body was serving as a black caucus to the white organizations, though? Isn't that why they were created?
It wasn't anybody doing that, because we weren't doing this bullshit that's going on right now. We were jacking people up.
The student movement started in 1960, right?
The student movement is what... Look, we were blowing stuff up. We were burning stuff up. We had the riots started in 64, 65, 66, 67. When you read the congressional records as to why they passed all the civil rights and voting rights stuff, it had not a damn thing to do with the civil rights movement. It was the fact that black folk were burning down American cities and wreaking the same level of destruction that the U.S. Army Air Force was doing on Nazi Germany with their bombing campaign.
Judge, they said that COINTELPRO was a part of the student movement.
I don't care what the hell they said about. I don't say what the hell
is that true or not?
No, COINTELPRO was trying to offset what we were doing.
Well, other documents that say that they actually had people inside of the student movements that was taking place.
They did.
Okay,
they had snitches, they had pimps, they had simps, and by the time 1968 got around, nobody could trust anybody. And the whole damn thing started falling apart. Gangs started restoring themselves where they just disappeared after about 1965, 66.
But Judge, isn't it true that the Ford Foundation funded those radical movements?
We didn't get that. That wasn't how that started off.
Who was they funding?
I don't know, but there were people that decided that they wanted to go up there.
Were any of those guys a part of the coming up with something for y'all? So is black just something for you guys?
I grew up in South Central LA, 58th place. All
right, I'll stop it there. I just wanted to get an understanding on that niggas ain't, you not black. So niggas got together and what's your thoughts on this before we get into this PowerPoint?
I mean, it goes to show with a lot of stuff. Okay, this might be on topic, but it's just like when they started the rumor about Indians died because of the smallpox. It started from one rumor, and then they just kept repeating it, and then it made it a reality because then it became a part of history now when they wanted to try to explain why there were no more Indians or the last Indian is not left. So once you keep repeating something, keep repeating it, you can absolutely make it a reality. And that's exactly what it sounds like. It's like in these little secret meetings and these dark corners, they keep repeating. And even they put it in the music like James Brown and making them say, I'm black and I'm proud. It's like, they're not even questioning where's that coming from though. You know, why, like, when did James Brown just come out of the blue and just say, I'm black and I'm proud? Where did that come from? So it shows you that it was a timeline when they were building up to where this actually became a real reality that we're actually now black now.
Right. And if we look up the definition of black, it states any person from any country on the continent of Africa. That's what black means. But niggas in America trying to make it theirs. Yes, it was the idea of niggas in America, but that was an allegiance that they had with niggas in Africa and niggas in the island. Something you ain't had nothing to do with. Yeah, they put the dope and the heroin on you niggas, crack babies and AIDS and shit like that. So we're gonna turn up. Let's see what we gonna go with it first. How about we get into while we're here? So the AU wants to basically take money, but who are the AU? Let's start there. Who are the AU? So right here, these would be the founders. The AU is actually fairly new. It's about 25 years old, going on 26. But it started from OAU. Now this OAU, and I hate that, you know, we got all these Pan-African teachers and all of that, and they want to teach us about Mansa Musa, nigga had all the gold, and you telling these stories to a po nigga. Oh, yeah, nigga, I'm poor and fucked up. Nigga, I don't give a fuck about how much gold. Why should I feel good or empowered because another nigga rich and y'all made him up? But this is what really happened. This is the OAU. The OAU is going to start this. Where it's really going to start from is the Berlin Conference. So before we get to the OAU, we're going to get to the Berlin Conference, the Scramble of Africa. A lot of people don't really teach on the colonization of Africa. When they teach the colonization, they'll tell you that, okay, the slaves came out and they were dispersed all around or whatever. But I guess we'll go to this clip before we go here. Let's talk about the Berlin Conference. Let's walk it down on what the fuck happened. You know, that's where I be at. I'm on some what the fuck happened shit. So let's walk it down. Colonization Society was organized in 1829. Appreciate that love in the cash app. I can't see who that was. (1829) the Aid American Colonization Society colonized free blacks in Africa. All right. The New York Colonization Society was dissolved in 1968. Its assets transferred to the Phelps-Stokes Fund. Okay, a foundation sharing similar purpose. So they closed down the New York State Colonization Society and it dissolved into what is called the Phelps-Stokes Fund. And guess what they were doing? What they told you they were doing? They were going to connect leaders in Africa to the Americans. How did this nigga get in America? The New York Colonization Society. And who they lead that shit over to? The Phelps-Stokes, the niggas who are interested, what they say down there, and sharing the same similar purposes. Come on, man. Out of the way. And I'm sorry, 18 out of the way. Right? And they pushed the civil rights movement by new black generation outside. Now, this is the Ford Foundation. The Ford Foundation invested heavily in graduate training programs in American and European research universities, promote international studies. We're about to go international. This is very important because they're going to tie this African and us together. And it's because they're working together. But in 1970s, there was a switch. Their strategy was new minority leaders. One result was the support for Black power elements hostile to integration, such as core as well as study programs on campus, and was resentment, especially by Jewish leaders who pushed civil rights movement by new black generation. But they, while the small hats was pushing civil rights, these philanthropists was pushing for these hostile groups such as Black Panthers and other revolutionary forms. The United States established a network of human rights organizations, promoted democracy, gave a large number of fellowships to young leaders to study in the United States. They bringing these niggas from the West Indies because, you know, at that time, the Integration Act had just been signed and they were bringing them over. Now you had the Jeans Fund. Jeans Fund was a popular name for the Negro Rural School Fund. All right. She was, guess who? A Philadelphia Quaker. Quaker. Not only, but, you know, in her shit, she was a Quaker and the benefactor. In New York City was impressive list of educators, dignitaries, President William Taft, Booker T. Washington of Tuskegee, George Peabody, goddamn. You got Andrew Carnegie. You hear me? So you got these northern philanthropist leaders, man. And they had this model that Hampton, Tuskegee had. And then, so they're going to end up meeting Robert Ogan. He going to connect them with just like him on the same time. Hold on. Let me bounce over. All right. So we're going to go through that. That'll bring in, man, I might jump the gun, sis. I tripped up. I fuck around and probably jumped the gun. Let me see. My bad, y'all. I jumped the gun. Hold on. This is where we supposed to start it. Berlin Conference. My bad. They called the Reconstruction era. Fuck. To me, I like to teach this will be the beginning origins of white supremacy, as we see in 1862. They're bringing over these large populations of white people. As Martin Luther King stated, they taught them the form, they taught them all these different myths, our myths. We taught them, as King said. So this is that time, around that time that these immigrants are basically being quote unquote civilized and learning the American way. You have Ellis Island coming around this time. At the same time, you have the Dawes Rose coming in, the aftermath of the 1830 Indian Removal Act from coming in. We see here these images of these poor little white people who today are said to be slave owners and beat you and whipped them. And the Aboriginal said, no, that's my slave, Lucy, Sally, and Jacob. And right here, we see them.
Come
get
your homeboy.
At this time in America that this is all taking place, well, you have something that's called the Scramble of Africa. Partition of Africa, or the Conquest of Africa. So you want to know about the AU, even to have this conversation that's going on right now. How do an African come take over the topic of reparations, speak for us, put people in place, ambassadors to the United States and shit, who's representing off of this here? So I'm gonna pull up another video too, because I ain't gonna let this slide with Ambassador Aracana. She gonna play a major role in this. Well, her game, sis, can you tell them her game? Was she really, is she hurt that Aracana? Is she hurt? You know, we here speak about the Berlin Conference. So this is why we're gonna start here.
Yeah, I don't think she has much of a solution economically for Africans, let alone her own native country. In most of the videos and interviews I've listened to her speak, she has spoken about, like you said, the Berlin Conference. But the Berlin Conference, it comes after they already had given a piece of Liberia, or Liberia to Black Americans already. So there already was a colonization attempt, or they already were carving up way before the Berlin Conference, which I don't understand why she doesn't bring that up, that everyone way before the Berlin Conference was looking for their piece of Africa. And it would have what I think why she doesn't want to talk about the Liberia project is because then it would have to expose some of those Freemasonry Black elites of the past that introduced what we now call the Berlin Conference today. So like I said, when they go further back in time, we always see a black hand.
Nigga try to put you at an 1870 deadlock. Don't look past 1870, cause you ain't gonna find nothing but me with my foot in your ass. So Aracana, she was the ambassador to it. A lot of people might not know her, but let me get over here real quick. I think maybe y'all will remember her by this. When I debated Jabari, and Jabari brought this lady up. Well, he was upset about this lady, and he said he was going to go get. He was going to go get this lady because they were about to be inducted together. Inducted into what? Jabari, shout out to Jabari, but damn, Jabari, do you got something to do with this? This African slave trade that's going on, nigga. But anyway, let's walk with the Berlin Conference. And this is 1884, and they're gonna slice Africa into a pie for monetary gain. Well, how did this start? Well, we'll start in the African Association, the beginning of the Age of Exploration. The age of exploration to Africa, as we stated earlier, for 200 years, they knew nothing about the interior parts of Africa. The African Association was created to promote the discovery of the interior parts. And this will come June 9th, 1788. Sir Joseph Banks, he's going to run it for a while. He was very much into science. As we come here, very much into science. What's going to follow this is now, like I say, they're going to be very much into science. What's going to follow this is you had a charter that was given by King Charles, the Black King, the Black Boy King. Now, as we come here, the Cambridge History of English Literature, okay, by A.R. Waller, okay. The progress of science. It has, I think, seldom has been pointed out that Charles II ancestry accounts for many of his qualities, especially for his interest in science. So we always like to say that what happened to us is happened to us because of this science. Science is going to play a huge role in this. So I want y'all to walk with me. Even the swarthy complexion of Charles II was probably due to his Italian blood and his fondness outdoor sports, and another trait which he observed in the Medicis themselves. His brother is bloodlines to the Medici, the famous Medicis. Toast in, and we know that these bloodlines are gonna go. Listen, bloodline 5, we coming. Well, he's gonna grant a charter to the oldest scientific institution, which is called the Royal Science, created by Robert Bowell. It was called the Invisible College. The Invisible College, 1660, November the 28th, it'll be founded. Okay. Now, they dealt with people, Masons, of course, and they dealt with people like Brother Darwin. Okay. So this would be, they think Charles Darwin brought it, but you had Erasmus Darwin, who was the grandfather of Charles Darwin. Okay, for the CMS Niger mission by the CMS Niger mission. So the Niger mission is when the British get into Africa, and there's a language gap. So there's a colonization process that's going to take place. So it's going to start with the Niger expedition, 1841, 1891. Now we're going to come up here. As the African Association will turn into the African Geographical Society, what we just went through, which Charles Darwin's son is actually going to run later on. But there's another conference going to take place right here called the Brussels Geographical Conference. It's African Brussels Geographical Conference. We never hear about these things for Pan-African. This is why I'm speaking on it right now. But let's walk. It's all going to go into the story of who is this AU. Because like we say over here, nigga, the colonizer look like you and I. Our skin folk ain't kinfolk. So we're going to just run this down real quick. And Christianity and the motives and how they went in and got the bloodlines there as they intermixed with these women that were inside of the ports that they were in. And this will give them grounds of indigenous to set up government. You have what is called the Brussels Conference, okay, by Amal Banning. All right. Now, when we speak about the foundation of the African Association of London, and this is the Brussels Conference that Jabari didn't know anything about. This was held September 12th through the 14th, 1876. And it decided the turning point that had been reached, the major exploration of Africa, was nearing completion. So with nearing completion, this exploration that they started out in the Niger. The new phase of commercial philanthropic opportunities beckoned King Leopold II of Belgium, called for an international conference to take place in the Brussels coordinate of European advancement in Africa. The innovations were sent to the leading geographical society of Europe, resulting gathering became known as the Brussels Conference. You also had the International African Association, which was created to govern and implement the plan of National Committee, where they formed in Austria, Belgium, Great Britain, Holland, Italy, Portugal, Spain, Switzerland, Russia, in the United States to solicit funds and to organize projects for Africa. In most cases, however, these national committees soon ignored communal role to pursue independent goals. Very few contributed any money to the association. As a result, it became who? King Leopold private concern. Now, this is why Leopold is going to say, I'm going to take control and do it myself. This is going to lead up to the Berlin Conference. Pan-Africans don't even know this history. In Great Britain, the Royal Geographical Society, which sent British delegates to the conference, created the African Exploration Fund in 1877. All right. Now this will lead us to what? The Berlin Conference. Now Leopold mad, ain't nobody want to drop. So when I put out, then I get more than you. In the play work, don't try to come back.
Nah, not at all.
It ain't gonna hold the same weight. Now, the Scramble of Africa, the Berlin Conference, which will lead to what is called the African Association. Check. Williams, the African Association, as it first called, one of its aims was to promote and protect the interests of all subjects claiming African descent, wholly in part of British colonies. Okay, places, especially Africa, by circulating accurate information on subjects affecting the rights and privileges, subjects of the British Empire, by direct appeals of the imperial and local governments. Now you have the African Association discovered interior points. Now they're going to go under this scientific and merge with the Royal Geographical Society, right? And after they gain a foothold, or what they say in the Brussels, they have now, it's coming to a completion. They have broke the language barrier. They have instituted the
nigga fuck the Niger.
And also the religious system.
Hold on. Somebody talking about don't did. Nigga fuck the Niger. Nigga fuck the Niger expedition. Some colonizer shit. Nigga, the Niger Company. A white woman came up with the name, nigga. What you mean, nigga? You standing on this shit?
And so now, after the Scramble of Africa, organization comes up with the same name. Same LLC, right? It's going to be ran by this brother.
Hold on, let me get out of here. I can't get you too, but I just wanted to break down the conferences which led up to the Scramble of Africa. You there, sis? Yep, I'm here. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so hold on. Let me go get our girl.
There she goes.
Fair use now. Now, this is the ambassador to the United States and Africa. She's the ex because they put out. So since they put her out, now she has a lot of bad things to say about the U.S., but she actually came to the U.S. under a program and spent more time here in the U.S., went to school over here, spent more time in the U.S. than she did in Africa. She can talk like you, and she can put an African voice on. She's dangerous. So she on Al Jazeera, which, you know, is a network, some people say ran by Qatar and Arabs over there to get their message out over Western message. So fair use, Al Jazeera, let us work.
Into force really across the board with very, very few waivers. How is Africa feeling this moment? Do you see this as a story of tragedy, or is there something else that we need to be looking at?
I think there's something else we need to be looking at. There is need for readjustments. There is need for realignment. We need to understand the real reason why USAID is in Africa. And not just USAID, but other NGOs. You look at DFID, which is the British equivalent, and many other smaller ones. Their sole purpose was to act as if they're coming to rescue Africa. They're coming to fill in the gaps in government services.
Well, what she's talking about is USAID, which they just found a lot of that money was going to places all the way to goddamn Uganda where niggas chopping off their dicks and all of this here for a couple $100. Yeah, they had homosexual mice in goddamn Venezuela, you know, 20, 25 million, half a mil on shit like this here, right? So let's scoot up.
Most remote parts of Africa. They're talking about government advocacy. When you look at it on paper, it all looks really good, but they're actually wolf in sheep's clothing.
Now, this lady is gonna lead the new Back to Africa movement at one point. And then they fell out of favor with her. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Meddling agenda. Major meddling agenda. The majority of some of the workers, now the average USAID, the American taxpayer needs to know the billions of dollars that are being given to USAID, a fraction is making it to the people.
Look, one of the highest profile medicine programs is PEPFAR.
At every aspect, they're using us as guinea pigs. Yes, there is some good, a percentage of some good.
No, it wasn't.
I happen to have many friends that work for USAID, both in the field.
Why does such a continent that did so much to help Europe recover continue to be so poor? Let's be realistic here.
Let's be realistic. Won't you tell the truth? Won't you tell them how you got your position? You're saying that Europe is still running Africa and they're poor because 1960 decolonization of Europe, the bloodlines of the European niggas were still there. But they, Pan-Africanism, which she's a part of, is helping because they come tell us that the colonizer is a YT man. So when you go to countries like Jamaica and the islands and goddamn Africa, and you look around and you see all this poverty, you ain't got nobody to blame but the niggas. So they're trying to blame Europe, but it's black faces in place. But when we go in their genealogy, they're actually Europeans or niggas coming off the northeast coast of America. Let's walk and talk.
Let's not talk about peanuts. Africa does not need the aid. What we need is for those who are exploiting Africa to stop. Africa has everything it needs. If Africa could have contributed as much as it did to the recovery of Europe post-World War II, why wasn't Africa equally developed?
So what happens next, Adikana? You and I have talked about this before, and the exploitation of minerals, of uranium, of cobalt, of nickel.
They went from realizing about $1 billion in uranium resources.
Hold on, let's get to the good part.
Cry over USAID living.
Always been the narrative that America is not doing aid very well in Africa, that China is beating us. Bono would come out and say, hey.
And protect their turf. China wants to come and exploit Africa. They'll get away with it to the Christianity and how it was introduced, how we were trained to be subservient in Africa.
Okay, hold on, here we go, y'all.
Colonization. If you go back to the Christianity and how it was introduced, how we were trained to be subservient. In Africa, the rules of the game were the same. I think that what was done to brainwash black people around the world, long before they even left Africa, we are still suffering from that legacy of colonization, the legacy of slavery, where the people in power, they themselves don't believe they can do it. We still have leaders who believe you can't make it unless you're working with white people. We have individuals who think,
wow, they're not working with white people, they're working with their family. They working, Shan, that's them niggas kinfolk. It's the bloodline. You niggas don't get shit and you benefited. Look at all these pearls and shit you got on. You don't look like nobody need no money. Miss Ambassador.
Only something brought in by white people is what's likely to succeed. With that kind of mentality, it is a very difficult battle. Our battle to succeed, to unite as the African continent, it is a battle of the mind. And each and every African must realize that we are defeated where it matters the most, which is the mind. Brainwashed to the core. Brainwashed to not believe in ourselves and what.
Y'all brainwashed. So then why y'all turn around and try to put it on us? Because she got strong words for African Americans. And she had plans for you niggas bags to come over there to Africa and help with her agenda. She said you niggas not following the program.
what we can do as individuals. Wherein lies the problem.
I won't call them nationalists, but are continentalists, are those that are trying to, as you say, take stock of their situation and raise up Africa and their nations by their own bootstraps to be less dependent on external countries and investment and aid. Is that flavor beginning to take hold? Is that sort of leadership being, is it more and more evident, or do you think you have a big lift ahead?
I think what's happening in the United States through President Trump is going to make them realize that this is what you need to do. You're going to have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. President Trump is saying, I have a mandate, America first. So you Africans, are you going to sit back and just wait and see the next move that President Trump is going to make? Or you're going to also say, I have a mandate from my people, and I'm going to do what I need to do. Take in.
She's a good talking motherfucker, too.
Inventory of what you have in your country. Use it and use it wisely. No more begging. You don't need to have anybody filling the gaps in your educational system. You don't need anybody filling the gaps in your healthcare system. You don't need anybody creating initiatives in the most remote parts of your country because they claim that you, the government, cannot have access to that. How can somebody?
Because y'all signed the deals. Hold on. We about to get into all of that. Y'all signed up for this. Now you saying you don't want to be a part of it? Your leaders signed up for this. They went through several presidents, and we're going to talk about it.
They come from all the way from the United States, all the way from Britain, and access the most remote part of your country that you in your country cannot access. It is the most stupid thing. When you listen to the justifications and the explanations as to why they are there, it's a joke, and this needs to stop.
Just finally, Ambassador, when you look at U.S. behavior retracting, we've just got a minute left, but I would love to know from you, what do you think about the UN? What do you think about the International Court of Justice? Because probably the contraction that we're talking about is going to happen in a lot of institutions. Do you worry that Africa will be worse off without those institutions?
No, those institutions were created after the Second World War. United Nations, it took 4 weeks to create the United Nations. Why? In order to help the recovery of Europe. The World Bank, the IMF, it took 3 weeks to create them after the Second World War in order to aid in the recovery of Europe from.
That is a fact. That is when you get the U.S. have colonies all around this world. Everywhere they have an army base, that is a colony. Because like she said, after World War II, and even the Cold War, see, this is the AUE is going to start after the Cold War. But after that, Africa is saying they didn't get anything, but European nations got something. So y'all were in bed with them the whole time. So they're upset because the U.S. top priority was their colonies in Europe. So they went and developed all of those countries out there. So the UN and all of that shit there, Trump was talking shit, nigga, I'm pulling out if y'all don't put the money up and all this type of shit here. And they did it. And right now what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in Israel, Trump has to act. Why? Because these are colonies of the America that America built up after World War II. Let me get her up out of here. But that is Miss Aracana. We might remember you there, sis?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, give me your thoughts on that. And
yeah, so like you said, I mean, a bunch of those, unfortunately, African nations have signed up to be a part of this idea. Even the idea of having the Central African dollar, and even ACON wanting to do the whole cryptocurrency thing. You know, it's nothing that really that they want to do stares too far from the central bank in any fashion. For reparations, especially for the African nations, I would think that they would want to find independence from their colonial names and flags that they have accepted. But and then also to go back
That's
to
deep. No, hold on, that's deep. Because damn, I was thinking about just what she said and now, but you didn't took it back to the origins.
Yeah, because she's proud of her colonial heritage, but in the same breath tells Black Americans and even Caribbeans that they have to let go of their colonial origins and go back to a continent that literally generates colonial origins. So yes, it's a lot of hypocrisy.
Yeah, because she's telling us that the leaders in Africa are subservient and only feel secure when they're working with the white man. But then she calling for all of us to come over there. So what we gonna do? Come get in the fucked up position, too, like the rest of y'all?
Well, the reality is that they don't want all of Black Americans or Caribbeans. They just want those that are well-to-do.
The money, yeah, they want. Yeah, you gotta have a couple dollars. And you know what's crazy? They put that in the stipulations. The qualifications to be a part of that, you gotta have a couple dollars.
Yeah.
But not none of these niggas running around here talking about I'm African through a DNA test. That's them poor niggas doing that. You ain't got no money to help build infrastructure, then you don't qualify for this program. My bad, turn it up.
But you know who's actually like setting the stage for wanting to kind of rewind time a little bit and take a little bit of that British rule off of them is India, who actually wants to go back to their right. So we actually can see countries that have been affected by especially British colonial rule that are saying, hey, even though you guys have got this one up on us, in our constitution, we still recognize ourselves as Bharat, not Hindustan, not India. We're still Bharat. That's still our name. And I have not seen one African country, especially in Western Africa, that has decided to let go of colonial ties and flags. And in fact, they actually wave it proudly on U.S. colonial soil. So I don't really buy, like you say, as we all know, we don't really buy into the whole back to Africa thing, because really they just want to exploit the Black American dollar just as they see the white man does. And they want to guilt us out of whatever wealth that we are having here, that we could build and reclaim our land here. America is literally empty. I've talked about this plenty of times, how empty this continent is, and they kind of crammed everybody into these major cities. Right. But there's land that we can actually acquire here and do business here, but they keep telling us that we have to go look to the east for everything.
And that was the thing me and Judge Joe Brown talked about why the blue team wants to bring over all of these immigrants, and that's because of all of this space, this territory that we have here. And we see them move them into these little country towns, these small population towns and things like that, especially here in Texas. Used to ride through, it'll be a sundown town. And you got to hear him get up out of there for one of them loud see your ass. But now they've moved all of these foreigners in there into these. And so you see a lot of more infrastructure coming up and cheap labor, and the population actually grow, whereas they were basing it off of, they were counting cattle and also prisoners. So we have prisons in a lot of these small towns where they're counting the prisoners and the cattle to make up for the population. So they start to bring in these. Once they bring them in, that means more state representative, more control, and more leverage for them to open up. California would be a great point. And y'all don't thumbs me up for that. I got that from Judge Joe Brown. So just to remind y'all who Miss Ericanna is, the African burial ground over to it. They also say that the burial ground, look right here, the burial ground say they are no longer asked the question, African Americans would like land to start their own country in Africa. Is that possible? Now, first off, she was the ambassador of Africa in the United States at this time. We see her crying over here on Algiers. She on Roland Martin. She on a few other platforms, and she's now going against the U.S. But at this time, she was pro-U.S. and pro back to Africa, and this is how she's talking to us Americans. Now, this is she ran the AU, the African Union. A lot of people saying, how they get to speak for us? Listen, fam, they didn't tie. I'm talking about they got you in the headlock to the point that they may get it. Why do they have a better chance of getting these reparations? Because they are side by side with the colonizer. They are the colonizer too. So if they ask for it, all they gotta do is just dip into the little bank, create another Ponzi scheme, and they can give that money to build that up. But let's walk. Listen to what these Pan-Africans say and tell me, do they want you in their country?
Talking about one country, one continent, speaking with one voice. My hope is when the protocols are cleared and are inclusive of descendants of slaves, African Americans should be free to pick up and say where I want to live on the continent. Why would you want to be given land when me, the continental African, I'm not being given land?
Now, the people ask them, can we get land if we come back out and give us all these wonderful, glorious ass stories telling us this our land, this our home, is this, that. Oh, y'all heard them popping that shit. But then we ask for some land. Can we have some when we go back? Oh, we ain't got nothing. Why would I give you land when I ain't got no land? Continental Africans ain't got no land. But damn, is we the redhead stepchild with the flu? Or is we really your brothers and sisters that shit y'all running around here selling? Hell nah, we dollar signs to y'all. Dollar signs, that's it.
Doesn't make any sense. Let's be realistic here. And which president in their right mind will start giving land to African Americans and no land for the people within that?
Y'all hear that? What president ain't right, man? But damn, y'all come tell us we your brother and sister, the year of return. You want us to spend money to come to your dungeon and shit that you ran with the British? It's insane. Acting like Africans didn't sell the slaves that left out of the motherfuckers. Like y'all, if people in the diaspora are Africans, look how disrespectful. First they sell you off to the white man, and then when you want to come back, you gotta pay for it. They ain't got nothing for it. Why would I give you something? Listen to them, colonize ass niggas. Uh-oh.
It's that situation of an old lady in a village. Do you honestly think someone coming from the United States is more entitled to compensation in the form of land, or some have been asking for mineral concessions, and not the old lady in the village? Come on now, let's
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
And ask for something. Let's be realistic. Let's not come up and go against the program. The program.
What's the program, y'all? Colonization. You ain't even got your own mind, thoughts, and heart out there. They already got you set up for what they want you to do, and that's labor.
It's going to be all of us to speak with one voice and come home to our Africa. Now, what you said that you fight yourself, you are feeding yourself into the same mentality from the colonizers, from the slave master of divide and conquer.
The slave master divide and conquer, but I got to come work for you. You don't want me to work for the slave master and the conqueror, but you want me to work for you. Pan-Africa has not put out a plan for us. They haven't done nothing for you. Look how long they've been around. They've been feeding you this back to Africa shit. They had the AME church on you. They brought you your Jesus. That's why all of your pastors, all of your leaders in our community is pastors and masons. Okay, it started from these people who said that you should leave America and go to Africa. Okay, that was the origins of the Pan-African movement. Started after the Scramble of Africa, became the African Association, which was to discover the interior parts of Africa. They went there to colonize. Again, damn, man, that's crazy shit. So we played the first one when we was talking about Akon land, year return, this new Back to Africa movement. And going back, and this, I forgot this part in there, but the nigga said starting with the African Association, going to the Scramble of Africa. Damn, we right back here. It's like we done got in the time zone capsule and went back in time or some shit. What you think about that? It's like, damn, what was everybody when we was telling them this shit? This 2021.
Yeah, because people don't think that history repeats itself, or that I want to pose this on the table too. The Negro question was always a question in the United States of what to do with the Negroes and whoever the Negroes are. And I do believe that the Negroes have been able to blend into the American Indian or so-called colored, copper-colored people here. So being that there's always been a question on what to do with the Negro, it was never answered. They have been putting this in place for a while, you know, to start this whole Pan-African movement. Like you said, we're starting from, I'm going to start from Liberia. I'm going to start to go to the scramble of Africa. But, you know, even now today, I would say that there's a modern day scramble for America, where African and Indian and other Eastern Hemisphere immigrants are coming here to pretty much modern day colonialism, colonize here. So, you know, it's been in the play for a while to start blending, like you said, as y'all say, mix the dope up of all these different cultures from the East that keeps trying to implement their plan. And the plan has always been to try to walk us off of this land while they take over our scramble here.
Bars. Now watch this here. And Jabari has not brought any sources tonight. Jabari has not told us how do he fit in as an African in this story. Haven't showed us nothing. Came here to preach, and he got his ass tore off the bone by legendary Big Chief Topcatz. Don't ever disrespect the Aboriginal or Indigenous American Indian no more. Get that Pan-African colonizer shit out of here. What's wrong with them working with the white man? What's wrong with them being slave masters? What's wrong with them wanting you to come to Africa and do cheap labor how dare you come out here and ask to come here and be an African? So we got to go there and be second-class citizens is what you're telling us. Is back to Africa movement that they've been kicking, or Christians, and they've been working alongside the colonizer this whole time, and goddamn their ass been exposed tonight. Legendary Big Chief Topcatz, that's my motherfucking time. Bars. Now y'all finna get into the build. We just want to build this up. Kicking these niggas in there.
All right, Brother Jabari, this is the last and final round. Then we're going to get into some question and answers. Oh, man, Topcatz ain't come to play, Jabari.
No, he did not. Not at all.
Topcatz ain't come to play.
Not at all. He needed not.
Brother Jabari, your screen frozen?
Ref, you got to start his time. What he doing?
I really want to show something here.
He dazed.
Here we go.
Put your phone on mute. Put it on mute, brother.
You know, Topcatz, you need
I said he dazed.
You need to be quiet.
I said he dazed. They tell me I be quiet.
I'm really surprised.
Let me know when you're ready. I can start your time.
Yeah, you can go ahead and start.
Okay.
I'm really surprised that someone who has not made an argument is acting like he actually has done something successful. Even if he believes that there's something wrong with the African colonization society, what does that have to do with this argument?
Sis, did you just bring up you said you started at the American Colonization Society? Why are they trying to make it like that's not a problem? Why is that a problem?
Yeah, because you know, they remember the modern day Pan-African is still the same people from the past Pan-African who is looking for their stake. They want their stake of the pie too. The problem is at the Berlin conference, they just didn't have a seat at the table that they wanted. That's all it is, but they're still looking for their piece of the pie.
And Leopold ran them up because Leopold asked for help. The International African Association, he asked for niggas to put up money. Since they didn't put up the money or see the value, when he put up the money and he got a larger slice of the pie, niggas want to make him the bad guy. But bitch, I told you I had a play, jump on it. You ain't want to drop back.
How does that make him a Native American? How does he then discount? All of DNA research, all of the history, all of those individuals who are of critical importance in our community, who have done the work, done the study. And then he has the nerve. By the way, Big Chief, I'm going to tell you that you said that you're upset. You actually played someone that I know well. I know you don't know who you were playing. Her name is Ambassador Arikana. I will be meeting.
All right, y'all. That's Ambassador Arikana. Ambassador to what? Ambassador of African Union. The ambassador to the African Union and the United States. Okay? That's who that is. He trying to tell me, nigga, you disrespecting a big dog.
I know her well. And so I'm not sure how you did not let her explain How does he then discount who are of critical importance in our community, who have done the work, done the study? And then he has the nerve. By the way, Big Chief, I'm going to tell you that you said that you're upset. You actually played someone that I know well. I know you don't know who you were playing. Her name is Ambassador Aracana. I will be meeting with her next week. You did not let her explain what she was talking about. You played her for a few seconds, and then you put your own commentary in. I work with Ambassador Aracana. Ambassador Aracana, Jabari Osaze, and Anika Daniels Osaze are going to be installed in the same ceremony.
Huh? That's all I wanted to do was just put that up there. Y'all looking for the AU. Some of y'all niggas signed up these niggas classes. Some of y'all following behind them. They just ain't told y'all who they running with or what's the agenda, because you ain't got the bloodline. That's something for them. That's something for them. Now we're gonna go into. Let me put this PowerPoint up. We're gonna run through this real quick. So how do we get here? They talk about the founding fathers. It starts with the OAU. All right, and from 1 all the way down, all the way to the 30s. I couldn't fit the 30s on here, but these are all of the guys. What do they have in common? European bloodlines. Founding fathers. Sister, you want to take this? This coming off the African Union.
Yeah. So in the year 2023 marks 60 years since the formation of the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, on the 25th of May, 1963. The OAU later relaunched the African Union in 2002. In celebrating 60 years of the Continental Organization, the African Union invites all African citizenry on the continent and in the diaspora to join in a commemorative activities that reflect on spirit of Pan-Africanism that has determined the actions of our forebears and connects the past to the present and our aspirations for the future of all people of African descent and for our motherland, Africa.
Okay, turn up.
For the longest time, the narrative has been told from the colonial perspective, experience its firsthand as it's told by those who are the custodians of the vision of Africa and making it work for its present and future generations through telling the story of inception to rebirth. A continent rich in its ethnic identity and diversity tells the world of where it is going and why it matters to the world, stands in awe and experience in its firsthand. These stories told by our founding fathers are about how Africans formed a continental body known as the Organization of African Unity, which is the OAU, to fight our liberation and bring the Pan-African ideas to reality.
Bring it to reality, because that shit was all a dream. So the top people is going to be people who, Haile Selassie, His Majesty. Okay, his international views led to Ethiopia becoming a charter member of the United Nations in 1963. He presided over the formation of the Organization of African Unity, the precursor of the African Union, and served as its first chairman. Meet Sir Haile Selassie. Who else? We're going to have this guy named Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, he was a Ghanaian politician, revolutionary. That's what they say. Ain't never had a fight, but he's revolutionary. I don't get it. Revolutionary, you ain't no war general or nothing. You ain't been in no war. You got your hand, you ain't took nothing down. And you get the title of a revolutionary for talking. He was the prime minister and president of Ghana, having led the Gold Coast to independence from Britain. Very important, because we're going to lead up to the decolonization of Africa, 1960. Let's walk. Y'all want to know how niggas get in bed? How black niggas? You niggas running around here with these black labels. Y'all don't want to let it go. Well, nigga, y'all have brought, now y'all done got all us into it. Yeah, y'all done got us into y'all bullshit. Hold on, before we go there, let me come over here. Cornman Chroma, we're going to be real quick on how he even got into position out of the student movements. Kwame gonna come out of that. Now, before he went to London, he gonna leave that program and he gonna come to the Americas. And what he do in the Americas, he come to the United States and form the African Students Organization. Check. And he looking for niggas just like him on the same type of time, which relentlessly promoted Pan-Africanism, earning him a reputation as an African independent advocate. On arrival, guess what he do? Now, when he got to London, well, when he got to the South, guess where he went? He went to HBCU, just like his OG James. He's gonna go to HBCU. He's gonna be in bed with the AME church. Sunday, got eating your grandma's sweet potatoes and fried chicken and macaroni and shit. Drinking Kool-Aid and they been listening to Al Green with you niggas. The comment in that whole listen to Al Green ain't got no rhythm. So when he gets to London, he gonna leave America, gonna go to London. Now what he do? He get there and shape them up. He joined the West African Students Union, WASA. He joined them when he get there. And when he get there, what he do? He created a subgroup, the WASA, known as the Circle. Circle in the Circle, Black Europe. He got there and they already had something going. This nigga is on assignment. Remember, he's leaving out of Mata, which is a private school led by the governors, where he's gonna meet James Agri, who came over, hung out with all of these niggas who supposed to be our black heroes and master teachers. He hanging out with them. His wife, he got a wife out of Virginia, got kids with her. He run the school, Livingston College, for 40 years. Okay, so he bring over his young soldier, who is Kwame. Kwame leave here, go to London. They already got a group. Well, this nigga get there and he's the leader of the group. That group, he's gonna create a circle within a circle. Okay, a secret society within of niggas who got the same bloodline. And he gonna put on this agenda. But let's walk. European blood. Black European raw bloodlines of America, nigga. Hey, y'all, hit my like button. We got a cash app now. Cash app on the screen, goddamn. Hit my like button, support the show. Let's walk. You gotta understand, he joined that group, then he gonna end up running it. But he there on assignment. So when he get to America, he create the African Students Organization. He not fucking around. The young niggas on assignment and he got a lot of money backing him. So in London, he go infiltrate there. He get in good. He got the circle. Now he running the program. Check. From there, he gonna create the Pan-African Federation and the World Federation of Trade Unions. He also became involved with organizing the 1945 5th Pan-African Congress in Manchester. This brought him closer to many great leaders, including W.E. Du Bois, future president of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta, and American activist civil rights, Paul Robeson. Y'all know the relationship between them. Now he done jumped in this WASA, the union assimilated political racial conscience among West African students in London. They serve as a manpower bank and a training ground. A training ground for leaders and nationalist movements. Get some flames in the chat. Hold on, we finna walk it down. Because I heard a lot of people talk about the topic, but I'm hearing more goddamn crime than information than understanding. And it's a lot of people trying to figure out what the hell going on. And, you know, everybody I'm listening to is crying. They don't know what happened. How they get to speak for us? Damn, nigga, you don't know what happened? So, all right, let's walk. And he go there and run that motherfucker in no time. Little Homestead. Now let's walk this bitch down. In the building. Now, he gonna end up getting locked up. He gonna end up getting locked up. Now, this is very important because we're gonna talk about another quote unquote what they call political leader. Martin Luther King got locked up too, right? Somebody else that's gonna play a major role in this is gonna be locked up, and then they're gonna be the president. They're gonna be the guy with the relationship with the United States. Let's walk. Now, in 48, he created UGCC, organized boycott, and foreign products led to riots in the car. And Nkrumah and several other UGCC leaders were arrested in the British colonial authorities and briefly imprisoned. No different than the student unions. We showed y'all last time they was creating them down in Tennessee. These trainers training these leaders on these sit-ins and all of this stage shit, right? And what happened? They all go to jail. Martin Luther King go to jail, get out. He helped John Kennedy become president. This is how this shit is working. Let's walk. So he get locked up. In 1950, the strikes had convinced the British authorities to establish a more democratic colonial government and a move towards independence. In 1951, after the elections, guess what? Nkrumah went hands down while he's sitting in prison. He went hands down in Accra, goddamn, and they end up having to let him out. So now he's running shit. He re-elected in 54 and 56. He got it the Gold Coast of independence in 57. He renamed it after the ancient West African Empire of Ghana, which he became the first president in 60 to 66 and the first African post-colonial leader representing a powerful voice in African nationalism. Nkrumah also offered generous assistance to other African nationalists and intentionally pursued a policy in alignment with the United States and the Soviet Union. Kwame Nkrumah, greatest African missionary ever. Well, one of the West Africans. We ain't gonna say the greatest. I get that to Aja. I get that to Aja Crowder any day. All right, so let's work. So boom, we got our guy, Nkrumah. So right here we got Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr is gonna have a similar story, whereas he's gonna come from West Africa, but he's gonna be taught abroad. Check. He's gonna be taught abroad. Now, he was the first and only prime minister of Nigeria, a dominant figure in Nigerian independence. This is this independence we're talking 1960. Martin Luther King, what? 1960. Student movement, what? 1960. JFK, 1960. Oh, he's in here. Let's walk. Matter of fact, he knows JFK. My bad. Let me chill because I'm talking too much. Now, Abu Bakr was born in the village, they say, and he studied at Kashner High School. He became secondary school teacher there. 1944, he became headmaster of the Bachi Middle School after 2 years. He moved to University of London Institution of Education. Then we just seen Kwame Nkrumah go through that. Oh, okay. Where he obtained an overseas teacher certificate, returning to Nigeria, a returnee. All of them had the same story. He worked as Bachi Native Authority Education Assistant and a member of the Advisory Council. And Balawa was later moved to inspector of the school. Now, we'll come here. Sis, you want to get this one? We're going to come here. Yeah, you can get this one, or I get the next one.
All
Why
right.
turn up?
All right. Yeah, like Britain in colonial times, America courted Northern Nigerian aristocrats and emergent political elites. Cold War calculations.
What? Hold on. They did what now?
Oh, they courted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, trying to win. Okay, I got you.
Cold War calculations undoubtedly dictated much of this outreach, but some of the courtship is attributable to the existing affinity of Northern Nigerian aristocrats to Western modernist values. It made them receptive targets of American Cold War cultural and political evangelism. Northern Nigerian aristocrats were themselves active seekers of Euro-American modernity and all the political and cultural values associated with it. They wanted to visit America, in their eyes, a new metropole of modernity, to extend their repertories. Hope if I messed that up, sorry y'all. There was, in the sense, convergence between the American desire to befriend northern Nigerian Muslim leaders and the latter's desire to access Euro American modernity through travel to the United States. It was this spirit of mutual courtship that between July 25th and 28th,
1961, what happened?
right, the mutual courtship in 1961, Nigeria's first post-independence prime minister, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. If I messed that up.
I just call the nigga Abu. Yeah. What did he do though?
He toured the United States.
Oh man, so we getting the same story over and over. These niggas steady touring the United States, huh? Tell me where he went, and then that might matter.
Okay, at the invitation of the U.S. President John F. Kennedy. In addition to the usual official necessities of high-level diplomatic visits to Washington, the visit took Balewa. Is that saying it right? Is it Balewa?
Fuck it. Mr. B.
Mr. B. To two of America's largest cities, New York and Chicago, and to the southern agricultural backwater of Knoxville, Tennessee. What was in Tennessee?
A play.
What's that?
We going with the plays, agriculture. Yeah, they let you know what they looking for.
Yeah, what you doing in the backwaters?
Just like James Agri was in Harlem in New York, running through there. Then his protege Kwame come running through there, and he go another nigga, top nigga in the game, who ran it for a long time. They assassinated all of them niggas' ass. But he's in New York, Chicago, Chi-Town. He got shit to do. He got places to be. Upon his arrival in D.C., Bella was, this just basically gonna tell us about he had a warm reception and all of that shit, and it was lavish. And Bella, now what's interesting is that he was only in office less than a year. He wasn't even in office. He's not the biggest fish in the pond for this type of work, what they need, right? But guess what he got? He got the bloodline. You don't just pop up for nothing. You did. He less than a year in office, no qualifications, check, and had considerably less nationalist and Pan-African influence than Kwame Nkrumah. So he's like a great value, Kwame Nkrumah. But we know how to build a nigga. This is America. Who was in his fourth year independent gunner leader. Now, Abu Bakr politics were not necessarily less anti-colonial than Nkrumah. This was after a period of nationalist ferment in Africa in which elites were separated not by whether they were pro-anti-colonial, but their method of anti-colonial nationalism. You did? Yeah, Washington pulled out the stops to give Mr. B and his entourage a memorabilia reception. And after that, Washington held up his model for anti-colonialism in Africa as it sought to balance its support. So right here, we see Mr. B, Abu Bakr. He's here with the princess and the governor. Right here, we see him. Got my kinfolk up there, but it's all good. He got JFK, welcome Nigerian Prime Minister, Abu Bakr, Tafawa Balewa. So that sounds like a white wine. Yeah, he at the White House shucking and jiving. So it was something called the Peace Corps. Now, y'all heard me talk about that with the Judge Joe Brown in that same video we just watched. And I said, well, when they sending niggas over there in the Peace Corps? He's like, yeah, that's bullshit and all of that. All right. You know what? Hold on. I got the Peace Corps book up. Where my shit at? You got it? Okay, bet. Hold on. Let me bounce out of here real quick. Cause this less than 24 hours, man. Couple hours, man. We just gonna do a little something, but y'all know we don't know how to just do a little something. So we're here. Now, the Peace Corps, from the ideal into an affectionate overseas program. 1961, the Peace Corps had no volunteers, real staff, right? Now, the project system and agreements of the nation wanted Peace Corps volunteers. Now, you had 30 to 40,000 letters following the president's speech, the president being JFK. Now, the idea, it was in 1960, the idea was to join with power and desire to implement it. And it suggested philosophical underpinnings may go back to William James. Now, what they wanted to do was start sending out basically missionaries to other countries. So in 61, the president set up a task force under the president of the Chicago Board of Education, a nigga named Shiver, and the international studies, the preliminary reports of Colorado, and Executive Order 10924, they created what's called the Peace Corps. Now, in this Peace Corps, a lot of people, these quote-unquote volunteers, they'll be sent out. Now, one of the things, now they had to go to training first. All right, let me bring that up. So when the Peace Corps was established, few guidelines on how to train Peace Corps volunteers, all right? Now, this is a training process. One of the, our brother that was with John Henry Clark, he actually went. We ain't got to say his name, but it's all good. Now, they got trained up and then they're going to go out there to Africa. All right. And you had them going all around. But this is them in the universities and different shit like this here. Let me see if I can get down to Nigeria, Ghana, and all of that type of shit. All right, we getting close. All right. Now, right here, the project. In 1962, you had 5,000 volunteers requested by 37 countries. Now, the first step determining the potential demand for Peace Corps project was taken when Shiver visited the world leaders and you know, brought up the idea about it. Back though, you had at a time, Shiver's trip, he went to African nations. Now, when he went to the African nations, they were under communist propaganda, pressure. Why is this important? In the conversation with Judge Joe Brown, I asked him a question. I say, did the Peace Corps, because he say two of his roommates at UCLA were Yoruba. So he tell us he Yoruba today. But he just found that out 8 years ago. But when he was 8 years old, his grandma told him he was a Choctaw. And today, he's an enlisted Choctaw tribal member. Anyway, shout out to Pops. So I asked him, I said, so through the Peace Corps, they sending people over to Africa and they bring them back. Is this when it's going to start after the Special Defense Act? He said, no, Peace Corps was about none. Either you're one or a two, and you can try to evade it. I say, nigga, but then they send people over there. He said, yeah, and we send them too. But so they try to give you the bullshit, but if you know what you're talking about, you can walk right through them. So let's keep walking. So they get to Africa. Africa, he said that the U.S. sided with Africa and started bringing these people over, and you get the Immigration Act of 1965. That was the first one. 1924 ended Europeans coming over because of World War I. Now, 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson signed into play, and Asians and Africans can come. At the time, they were called Orientals. But what's going to take place now? So that's why Judge Joe Brown helped me understand. Now, they didn't bring the Africans over for that. They brought them over so they went join the communist movement. So right here, when we go into the Peace Corps joint, they're letting us know that, yeah, they were threatened. America, the United States were threatened by a connection of African nations and becoming communists. Well, they pressured them and disassociated themselves from Peace Corps work. Despite this, you had some people who agreed. Julius, the president of Tanganyika, African National Union, Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana, leaders of Nigeria, His Excellency. You had Azikiwe, the governor, commander-in-chief. You had Honorable Sir Abu Bakr, okay? And you had RJ the Horrible, you had Bello, you had Sokoto, and they premiered in the northern region requesting projects for their country. So some African countries weren't with it, but we see the ones who are with it. Hold on, homie, we just building up the UA right quick. We just building up the UA for you right quick, because people saying, damn, where did this come from? So they got in bed. Niggas said they ain't want it. They say, look out, send it over. We need that. I need that work about you. Let me get that, fam. Y'all giving shit out, bet. I'm on the way. And there you go. You see him. JFK brought out the Peace Corps, and you see one of the niggas that stood tall on it. All right. Kwame ain't have no problem. And this is the source we just went through. Peace Corps Annual Operation Report, Volume 1, by the Peace Corps, U.S., 1961 edition. We're going to go get the real shit. Now, let's come into the Journal of the African Union Studies, since that's what we're talking about. Now, hold on before I go there, because I don't want to jump timelines, because something's going to take place after that. Now, all of these people, the decolonization of Africa, British is supposed to be giving Africa back to the Africans. Africa still potent the motherfucker. Africa still had their problems. As we see Eric Connor just explained, was just explaining. Boom, what we going with, Chief? All right, well, I'm at, okay, I'm just going to the next slide over. Is this me? The rhetoric body. Boom, boom, boom. I got too much shit pulled up. Hold on, y'all, give me 2 seconds. I should have put it down as a slide. I just opened it up. Hold on, let me make sure it's up here. Talk to the people, Shan, real quick. Let me grab it. Here you go. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Got it. You ready?
I apologize. You can't say hi to them. You can tell them to get the likes up.
Yeah, y'all get the likes up. Y'all share the live stream. You know, like Top said, you can start where we at now, but if you don't know the origins of this stuff and how deep, we talking what now? You can actually say centuries now. You can say this been going on for centuries. So
yeah, it's going on too goddamn long for nobody to know what the fuck here. Everybody acting like they don't know what's going on. I wonder who getting some of that money. That's money. All right, so we gonna come over here to damn, boy, how you make it big? Can I make it little? Nigga, get me over. All right, y'all, hold on. Let me try to figure this shit out. All right, yeah, talk to him. Let me figure this out. I'm trying to see how can I make it smaller.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured it out.
Got it.
I'm full of that. You know, hey man, I'm a little rusty. All right, let's work.
Go ahead.
I'll work out the jail. All right, so boom. This is the history of the Department of State during the Clinton presidency. Now I told y'all it was gonna be some other figures that's gonna come up in there. We done went through a couple presidents. 1969, they gonna really start get it off the ground. Well, you got African studies. That's when John Henry Clark and them started their shit. Black is popping right now, you feel me? And then going into the 70s, as Judge Joe Brown say, they'll be approached by the Pan-Africans to align this black paradigm with the Pan-African paradigm. Yeah, I got to get him on the show so he can come tell us about it. He said he gonna tell me, nigga, whatever I need to know, because I'm grandson. All right, let's walk. So when the Clinton administration, hold on, you want to get that shit? Let me highlight it. We ain't gonna get all of it.
That thing is tiny on my end. It's real tiny.
Okay, I got you. When the Clinton administration took office in January 1993, U.S. efforts in Africa were largely focused on responding to ongoing war, famine in Somalia, widely televised issues and starvation. That's that dollar a day and all of that they were playing on niggas. Black Hawk Down, all that type of shit. They over there fighting in Somalia. So the Clinton administration in 1993 erased the Cold War influence on U.S. policy in Africa by recognizing and establishing a formal diplomatic relationship with the government of Angola. U.S. policy towards Angola influenced by U.S. support UNITA rebels during the Cold War. So boom, they get that out. Them and they didn't line up. Now we're gonna come down. 3 major events that define evolving nature of U.S. government engagement with Africa. Niggas want to know how we got into bed. You get Rwanda with all of the deaths, then Clinton and Secretary Albright gonna come back in. Those who old enough can remember these times. Those who served in the military gonna know about these times too. My old man was in Desert Storm. But so we bounce over. Now what's gonna take place here is we get another figure. Now we seen Kwame Nkrumah win the goddamn presidency from a jail cell. He's a bad nigga. I ain't seen no nigga do that like Trump. That's like on some Trump level shit. I think him and Trump, the only nigga that can win an election from the jail cell. Yeah, I think that nigga ain't got a tool. He just win the election from the jail cell. Well, a nigga named Nelson Mandela, 1994. Somebody brought up Rodney King and all this here, the riots and all. Yeah, we're going down around this time. Well, in 1994, President of South Africa, to which the United States responded, increased U.S. assistance and engagement with the government of South Africa. Through who? Nelson Mandela. Huh? The second key event was the election and inauguration of President Nelson Mandela of South Africa in May 1994, which the United States substantially increased the U.S. assistance engagement with government of South Africa. The administration put in place a what? 3-year, $600 million aid assistance to transition post-apartheid South African to establish the U.S. South African Commission, which provided to be a vital tool in strict aspects between the U.S. bilateral relationships with South Africa. Boom. So they're in there with South Africa now. In 95, they with Nigeria, Sudan, Africa, largest country respectively in the wake of execution. That included Ken, Soro, Wawa. The United States imposed additional sanctions on the military regime in Nigeria. Now at this time, Nigeria was going through a lot. Now, if y'all remember the apartheid, y'all see them being moved, West Africans being moved into South Africa. You feel me? All of this is going down. Well, you got a northern body who is standing on Islam business. Now, America like to play niggas against each other. They arming everybody. They're arming both sides. Yeah, we done seen them do it with ISIS and motherfucking, yeah. The U.S. talking about fuck them niggas over there, and they arming both parties. So that northern Nigerian region, you know, it was tough up there. They was gunning. Oh, damn, boom, boom, boom. Where I bounced off it. Okay, here we go. So, in the third event was the White House Conference on Africa in June 2000, which set the tone to focus on the policies on Africa. It was the beginning of an effort to look at Africa broadly instead of on a country by country, crisis by crisis conflict. Now, Clinton stated at this time that the administration would develop a policy to lead human potential of the people in every continent in ways that it would lead to a safer and more prosperous world. Now, they're gonna come out with a law, and basically, man, I wanted to go through this here I ain't gonna go through everything. I wanted to go through this here and show how much money. So we're in the year 2000 now. This is the first ever month of Africa in the United States, hosted by the Security Council President, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Richard Holbrooke, to draw greater international attention to African issues. 2000 milestone growth opportunity passed Congress, signed into law by President Clinton in a new era of trade to Africa. President Clinton made his second trip to Africa, underscore U.S. support the transition, democracy in Nigeria, and peace. All right. And so we see in the 2000s, it's starting to pop. All right. Now let's push back over to the bill. Hey, y'all get them likes up, support the show. Get them likes up, support the show. All right. Now we're going to come over here to the Journal of African Union Studies. Oh, you guys, sis. So this the bill. My bad. Let me say this here. This the bill right here. And this is the Constitutive Act, right? Togo 2000. All right, now let's walk.
Okay, the act marked a radical departure from the political legal regimen created by the predecessor, the African Charter of 1963. The charter had been adopted amid much fanfare and agitation of decolonization throughout the continent. I'm trying to read it. It's kind of
small. I know it's small. I got 20/20 vision. You need glasses. I'm not gonna kid.
No, I do need glasses.
I know.
I'm trying to read. Okay, it says even short-lived political unions formed in Africa, although the formation of the OAU crested these multivariate Pan-African efforts for African independence. Its formative document, the Charter, has been criticized for being its milestone because it was a compromise charter. It became a document of the compromise between two forces.
Ain't that by something? So, at this time, again, just like the Berlin Conference, why everybody mad? Because they didn't benefit. They didn't get out of it. They know what they pocket watching. So it's the same thing. You can't never get niggas together and they gonna stay together. So they didn't went through all the way from the top, all the way after the Second World War, where they feel like they didn't get their just due. Boom, they bounce over, and after the Immigration Act, they're getting a little help from the president now. And we get to 2000, and it's a problem because niggas can't get along. Although the formation of the OAU crested the multivariate Pan-African efforts for African independence, its formative document, the Charter, has been criticized. And just like that lady, Eric, she was the ambassador, but now, since they didn't fire her, now she criticized them. Yeah, she gonna add the dirty laundry. Just like a nigga. She mad. On the other hand, Kwame Nkrumah and his supporters in 1963 wanted the charter to be on the basis for the real integration and unification of the continent. On the other hand, there were those who were content with the status quo, and they wanted it to remain the same. Why? Because, nigga, I'm getting my money. Fuck about these poor ass niggas around here. Them ain't my people. Yeah, so this made the charter somewhat ineffective. Now, the two protagonist forces, known as the Casablanca powers and the Moravia powers, they observed the major weaknesses in the charter that formed the OAU. Was that the milestone? Nevertheless, the formation of OAU gave the process of decolonization such an extent that the organization has been credited for the wave of decolonization on the continent after its formation. So basically, niggas saying like, you got this upper class who feel like they deserve more, or they sitting on top like the Don, the Godfather, and the nigga better mail it in. He need a check from everybody because y'all wouldn't be in this position without the plays we ran. So we grandfathered in, we gonna run this shit. But you got other niggas that's in the play and putting in work, and they feel like they deserve more than what they get. You feel me? And the big homies at the top, yeah, they belly's getting too fat. These niggas getting a little greedy. They pinching out, yeah. So they don't want to let nobody else see, but they turn around and tell you, well, nigga, if it wasn't for me, this play wouldn't even, yeah, this wouldn't even be a play. So it's no surprise that one of his foundational objectives, as set out in the charter, was to defend sovereignty, territory, integrity, and independence of African countries and eradicate all forms of colonialism from Africa. But okay, you can move whoever you moved out, but the people still being colonized. When the organization was disbanded and the UA was formed in 2000, Africa had by large attained political independence. It was the perfect moment to embrace the long-held vision of greater unification. The AU formed to achieve twin objectives. Firstly, the final goal of African unity that leaders had been pursuing for more than 40 years. 40 years of bullshit, nigga ain't got nothing done. They got all their faces back there, all the OGs ain't got a motherfucking thing done. When a nigga gotta come behind you and you get 40 years. That's why when niggas be running up to me talking about how long they been doing this, fam, all that shit don't mean nothing to me. Nothing. What are your results, nigga? If you had results, you wouldn't even have to tell me how long. I already know. Yeah, that point. So, in response to the criticism OAU since the inception, it was disproportionately structured to jealousy, safeguard sovereignty. So just like Eric Connor say, you got black leaders in Africa that feel like they can't be independent or successful without the white boy. Yeah, that type of shit. So we get to the AU, the emergence of the African Union. And what major factors were behind its creation? The capacity to meet the challenges, peace, security, and governance, the organization had been driven by an agenda or an agenda that is geared towards satisfying and inspiring the needs of the people. We assume it was new identity issues, interests that fueled the creation of the AU. In one sense, the AU can be regarded as product of pre-organization of the African Unity or the OAU debates. But in another sense, it can be seen in response to globalization, democratization process that the character post-Cold War changes in Africa. In the whole world, in the world as a whole. In 61, in Nkrumah again, he called for the organization similar in structure. So Nkrumah did call for it. Selassie called for it. And so that's why they always bring their names up as pillars or niggas who say, hey, man, we need to push this line. But we're going to keep it gangster. The nigga who had the best plan was Omar Gaddafi. So we'll get to him too. So when Nkrumah had called for it, boom, we bounce out. And Nkrumah cautioned that a weak Africa was vulnerable to external pressures and manipulations and could only become one of the greatest forces good in the world if it was united. According to the AU, they envisioned an organization that could render African unity more meaningful by creating and maintaining and sustaining peace on the continent. All right, sis, you got it. You can just read the first one and then I'll go into the second one. I want to add something about Gaddafi. but I'm gonna throw you at it.
Okay. Some of the factors that contributed to the emergence of the AU include the end of the Cold War, recognition of the power of forces of globalization, and the permanence of neoliberal economic ideology, increasing demands for respect for human rights and for transparency by civil society organizations, the growing popularity of the liberal democratic principles, and personal rivalries among some African political leaders.
So you had a rivalry going on. Well, don't niggas hate? Niggas love to hate. But the rivalry, just like I always say, man, the Pan Africanism, and this is something I was putting in the course. It's actually 3 different branches. And a lot of these movements are based off different branches. That's why W. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey ain't fuck with each other. Booker T. Washington, they didn't fuck with them niggas. You know what I'm saying? But they'll all be labeled as prime Pan-Africans depending on which side. Like a nigga always have a debate, or are you Malcolm or are you Morton? You feel me? So it's always like 2 coins or, different perspective of niggas trying to, bring the people into something, that they didn't set up and goddamn me credit with this colonizer. So the rival amongst political leaders appeared to revolve around 3 figures: Libya's Muammar Gaddafi, whose rediscovery of Pan-Africanism ideals seemed to have been influenced by the search for allies to break out of the U.S.-led international isolation. Now, Gaddafi was telling them niggas back then he didn't have to fuck with them. And then he knew he could go over there and fuck with the Arabs too. And then he seen ways they can get a play. We know one of the reasons why they say he was taken out because he got with the African nations and they wanted to start a gold standard. You did, and so AC and them had to get him out of there. And y'all know Benghazi and all this type of shit went down. Anyway, now Gaddafi, before I go into these other guys, because we're gonna go into Nigeria, who partly owned his country political economics called in the West. He argued to spread Nigerian influence across the continent and South Africa. You had Mbeki. Mbeki was a major figure in this too. Although his country political economic powerless and revision of the African Renaissance, his neoliberal economics initiated through New Partnership for African Development, NEPAD, the rivalry between Nigeria and South Africa, apartheid and all that shit there, as displayed by ambitions to create occupy new permanent African seats in the UN Security Council, contribute to formation of the UA and the NEPA motherfucking D. Now, like we said, when Mandela and them was out and all that, it was popping. They pushing the West Africans into South Africa. They making them accepted. And you got the leaders up there. They all in bed together, but the people don't know. And they talking about, hey, stop this. And nigga acting like he ain't got the power to stop it. But he's a part of it. Another important factor to the emergence of the AU was the recognition and significance of the forces of globalization. The intensity and breadth of the interaction within the political, technology, economic, social, and cultural domains that characterize globalization. Watch this here. It had a major impact on domestic policies of African states. The AU founders. Get some flames here. We finna catch a colonizer. The AU founders, because they talking about who is the AU? How y'all talking for us? How you been black? You're black, nigga. When you're black, you give up all of that. You delineate. When you black, you delineate. You give up all your rights. You give up all because you a political nigga. That's why if a cop shoot an unarmed black man, you gonna cry and they gonna send BLM out there, nigga, and you gonna go donate, and you gonna listen to these niggas who talk, and ain't nothing got done to nobody. Yeah, they gonna talk their way into $1 million on you niggas and playing on your heartstrings. But then so the major impact the UA founders saw the union as a tool for the continent, the face of the most multifaceted challenges posed by globalization. Hence, among the UA, the objective, let's go to Article 3, right? What it is to establish the necessary conditions which enable the content to play its rightful role in global economy and international negotiation. Globalization also encourages imitation. Now, they say imitation is the highest form of flattery, but in this fact, it was not surprising that what? The African leaders did what? Colonize? Because them niggas still potent the motherfucker living in shacks, villages, no running water. You got China that took the airport, nigga ain't had the back pay, all this type of shit, right? Poor leadership. But guess what? African leaders sought to establish a continental body that mirrored the features of who? The European Union. It's the same nigga, sis. How you the AU, you talking all this independent shit, but
you acting just like them.
Fuck acting like them. You got the same mission statement. You can name your shit same as theirs.
Right.
Just like the American Colonization Society, Henry Highlander Garnett come name his the African Colonization Society. Cause niggas weren't fucking with that one. So boom, we gonna put you in your face, so only put the money behind it and see if nigga come fuck with it. And so here they come. Just like Melville Hercules got African studies, and then John Henry Clark and Leonard Jeffries come create African heritage studies society. Same shit. When y'all go out of town, y'all same shit because y'all backed by the same money.
Hey, get upstairs.
So we bounce over here. Yeah, that's right. Shy the King, man, hit that like button. Yeah, that's how they planned on us. Now, by waving the Pan-African and African Renaissance flag, Gaddafi and Mbeki out of South Africa respectfully pursued the ideas that Nkrumah had enacted. However, by pursuing NEPAD and Mbeki hoped to satisfy the concerns of those from the 1960 critics of Nkrumah. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about him, and they saw African Union. Now, in other contexts, the development can explain why 43 leaders attended the OAU summit in Libya, September 1999. Now, this is the OAU summit 1999, and this is when they're gonna decide to split away from that old way. These niggas who help decolonize Africa, so on and so. So they say. So now they're going to split 1999 and they're going to create the OA. These the niggas that say they want your reparations. So yeah, that's when the OA was born. It launched in Durban, July 8, 2002. And it described the meeting as personalities representing African ruling elite, from the retro base to the respected, from the heroes to the villains and the eccentric and power drunk niggas. And Mbeki was the host, South Africa. Gaddafi, who drew the most attention, while critics vilified him for pursuing sinister motives, his supporters compared him to Nkrumah. Gaddafi's speech heralded Africa's freedom to the end of enslavement and colonialism and African ownership of their own land. That's why I say he had the best play for him. Now I want to show you something right here. A few things took place with that. Gaddafi had the best plan. Gaddafi ran his country. The money, the wealth that they made off their natural resources, he put that back into them. If a family got married, then they were automatically given money to start their family and a home. His military was women. He sounded like Big Chief. Shit. What else did he do? Sis, you there? I want you to catch this one off the backboard.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. So back in the game, Liberia had some trouble. And it's this guy in Liberia. He ended up running away and hiding out in Massachusetts. Gaddafi got a lot of friends in Massachusetts, sis. What you think? Coming out that Boston area.
Oh yeah, that's what you call them Black Europeans up there.
What was the old boy name? Let the people know. He was fucking Naomi Campbell. I give y'all a hint. What was his name?
Yeah, that's gonna be Mr. Charles Taylor.
Mr. Charles Taylor.
Yeah.
Charles Taylor. So they had the Firestone with the rubber and the modern day slavery going on in Liberia. Well, brother Charles Taylor escaped, go to Boston, hide out, leave Boston. When he go to Africa, guess who he go up under? Gaddafi. When he leave from Gaddafi, he go back and do what? Become president. Now, sis, you still there? I got one more. Okay. Hey, y'all talking about who was that in shout out to the homie Geeks. He said, oh, y'all rocking. Gotta watch the replay. I'm late. Good to see Sister Shan lacing up. All work, easy work, the Indian way. Now, sis, I want you to catch this one out the glass for me, right? Who else Gaddafi knew out of Boston?
Gaddafi, he knew
Nation of Islam, nigga.
Oh yeah. Louis Farrakhan. Yeah.
Farrakhan. Huh? Gave him that bag. So Charles Taylor escaped Africa, run to Boston, leave Boston, and go right-hand man to Gaddafi. Same time, Gaddafi fucking with another nigga from Boston. A nigga named Louis Farrakhan. Bars. So this how we tied in, huh? Now let's get to the good part, sis. Cause this is what everyone's talking about. You got it.
Okay. Yes.
Now we get here. Okay, we just had to let y'all know who y'all were dealing with her. Now we get here to the good part. This is what everyone's upset about.
Yes. The African Union 6th Region Global is an organization dedicated to representing and advocating for the African diaspora worldwide. As an extension of the African Union, we serve as the 6th region, uniting people of African descent living outside the African continent and Friends of Africa. The AU6RG works towards fostering collaborations, economic development, and cultural exchange among people of African descent globally, while also advocating for their rights and representation within the broader African Union framework. We strive to strengthen bonds among Friends of Africa, people of African descent, and to contribute to the advancement of the African continent and its diaspora. Learn more about our mission, initiative, blah, 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 blah. Okay.
So they say learn about their mission. This is the African Union. This is their website. So sis, you want to go into the Union 6 region?
Yeah, so the 6th region, that would be us. You know, they maybe except Haiti, I don't know. But yeah, that's technically, you know, the African descendants that are supposed to be a part of this movement, whether we
want to or not. Want to or not.
What you consent or not, you part of this play.
Okay, turn up, you got it.
Where we starting at?
African diaspora.
Oh, I see. Okay. In the Constitutive Act of the African Union, under amended Article 3 of the Act, the following is stated regarding the African diaspora: invite and encourage the full participation of the African diaspora as an important part of our continent in building the African Union. Additionally, the African Union provides definition for its concept of the African diaspora as the following. The African diaspora consists of peoples of native or partial African origin living outside of the continent, irrespective of their citizenship and nationality, and who are willing to contribute to the development of the continent and building of the African Union. In 2016, the African Union denied membership to Haiti due to its membership admissions as per Article 291.1. And it's being limited to African state. All right. In the African Union Handbook, persons who have been appointed to represent the African diaspora at the Assembly of the African Union have been granted the status of observer. Blah, blah. Okay. In January 2008, the Executive Council suggested that the African diaspora be treated as African Sixth Region and participating in the AU's organs and activities to be strengthened. Their assembly has recognized the diaspora as a substantive entity contributing to the economic and social development of the continent and has invited its representatives as observers to the assembly sessions.
Wow. So you niggas are a part of what group y'all with? Y'all with the Sixth Region. And there they go up there. They go, y'all representatives. The Pan-African Parliament. Have y'all heard of the Pan-African Parliament? Man, there's so much shit that I could have added in here. But, this I just started today. So, goddamn it, this is what you get. But we ain't done yet. Let work. So, post-independent U.S. efforts engaged with Africa have concentrated on short-term goals, cozy relations with national leaders, and have Austin U.S. patronage to wage war on the neighbors. Okay, damn, my shit in the wrong spot. So this was going to bring up to Clint. This was the 1993 policymakers in 94. And Clint he signed the bill, the African Conflict Resolution Act, which offered U.S. support to OAU. Remember, they ain't become OA until, they broke away in September 1999, but then 2002, they really got this shit popping, right? So, damn, it's in the wrong spot. But this was the Resolution Act that offered U.S. support to the OAU. All right? The OAU developed closer ties to Gaddafi. The United States gradually scaled back its support, and this other African-centric initiatives. From 96, the U.S. began to provide some funding and material for a number of security initiatives in Africa, including the African Crisis Response, followed the African Crisis Response. By this time, U.S. policymakers had realized the key to cooperation was not simply providing arms, but in building capacity of African military institutions and operate effectively. Now, in 2008, 2009, hold on, let me go up. I need this one. So, which led to a peacekeeper. Oh, okay, damn, I was on the next one. All right, this is what I need. All right, so you had the Operation Training Assistance, which later became part of the Global Peace Operation. 2005, you had the GPOI trained more than 69,000 military personnel from 73 countries, more than 48,000 of whom developed to 20 operations around the world. These are effectively trained and equipped troops to manage security crisis. So, give an example, since in Haiti, who do they have out there fighting the Haitians today?
They got the Kenyans out, right?
Got the goddamn Kenyans out there.
That's right.
Who they just had run through Congo. They got the Kenyans and niggas like this here all in the Congos under the UN and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they didn't put the nigga on the nigga. What happened to the Pan-African diaspora and Haitians, Africans, and all of that? But y'all got them sanctions on their ass. The president assassinated in his bed with his wife, and then they find out some of the niggas went on the mission was goddamn special forces. The United States does not do this alone. So in 2009, they shifted direct training and build a capacity of foreign nations to develop their own peacekeeping infrastructure and capability. The United States does not do this alone. In concert with partners in both developed the developing world, the group of 8, the G8, supported peacekeeping in Africa. You had UK training 12,000 since 2005, 13 countries, France uses African training centers and trained 6,800 troops, 27 countries in the same period. 2008, 2009, you had the G8 peacekeeping meeting, this Obama era. Despite U.S. support to security initiatives, the United States did not have a clear focus on African security until 2007, where they built AFRICOM. Now, even that right there is all good. Hold on, let me get out of here. Now, you have the one second. All right, sis, I'm gonna pull this up. Let me get this up for you.
All right.
You've been talking about this for a long time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just coming in the full circle. That shit, we've been screaming this shit for years, and now it came in niggas' face. They finna steal your reparations.
That's right.
Nigga, and the nigga tried to tell you, and you said, fuck you, nigga, you're Indian. So yeah, go on, get that work, Mr. Black Man. All right, turn up.
Is there a way you can make it a little bigger? Or I could try to squeak. I could try to squeak.
Yeah, you might have to squint. I don't know how to do it on here.
All right, so I'm just trying to squint. I'm gonna try to read it though. It says, so this is the agenda.
Hold on, first, where is this coming from?
So Agenda 2063 is coming from the African Union, the AU.
Okay. 2025 year reparations. Huh? Justice for African and peoples of African descent through reparations.
I do want to note that when I was studying the Agenda 2063, reparations was never the conversation of this particular agenda. This is something.
This is new shit.
Just add that in there. Yeah, this was not on the website.
Yeah, this 2025 shit.
they was not talking about reparations back in like 4 or 5 years ago. This is something new. But the Agenda 2063 is Africa's blueprint and master plan for transforming Africa into the global powerhouse of the future. It is the continent's strategic framework that aims to deliver on its goal for inclusive and sustainable development, and is a concrete manifestation of the Pan-African drive for unity, self-determination, freedom, progress, and collective prosperity pursued under Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance. Interesting. The genesis of Agenda 2063 was the realization by African leaders that there was a need to refocus and reprioritize Africa's agenda from the struggle against apartheid and the attainment of political independence for the continent, which had been the focus of the Organization of Africa Unity, which is the OAU.
Huh? So this is all tied to it. It goes back to the OAU. So when people talking about the 2025 year reparations that they popping and they want to tap into our little piggy bank over here to do it, well, we just walk you down on how it happened. Now the OAU not there, but they're giving them their credit because those are the niggas who were trained and put in position to be leaders after the British fake like they pulled out. Check, they just left the bloodline there. And since they told you a colonizer was a YT man and didn't look like you, you never looked at this nigga as the colonizer. And the whole time, even in Nkrumah and them, all these people, we see they've been to school, taught these, trained this to be leaders. And so right here, we bring it all the way back around. So, like they said, the African Union, the organization, this was the focus of the Organization of African Unity, the OAU. But again, 1999, they split. 2002, they started getting their groove on because they started getting that funding from the U.S. again. Let's walk.
As an affirmation, wait, I'm starting from the bottom again. As an affirmation for the commitment to support Africa's new path for attaining inclusive and sustainable economic growth and development, Africa heads of state and government signed the 50th anniversary was that solemn declaration during the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the formation of the OAU in May 2013. The declaration marked the rededication of Africa towards the attainment of the Pan-African vision of the integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa. That's funny. Driven by its own citizens, representing a dynamic force in the international arena, and Agenda 2063 is the concrete manifestation of how the continent intends to achieve this vision within a 50-year period from 2013 to 2063. The Africa of the future was captured in a letter presented by former chairperson of the African Union Commission, Dr. Diana Zuma, whatever.
Whatever the hell.
Oh, yeah, let's start. But before we go forward, I think it's key to note when they're beginning that 2013 to 2063, they already have a 50-year plan.
And
I think we talked about
it started, huh?
Yeah, and I think we kind of talked about this in a previous build we did years ago about in between that 50-year span, there's supposed to be an economic decline of Black America by 2053. So it's like they kind of just they did that on purpose to try to make it to where the people feel a little hopeless and they start looking for other opportunities elsewhere, especially as this economy in the country gets a little more, as we say, expensive. And that's what they're trying to play on the psychological state of of Black people. But right. The need to envision the long-term 50-year development trajectory for Africa is important, as Africa needs to revise and adapt its development agenda due to ongoing structural transformations, increased peace, and the reduction in the number of conflicts, renewed economic growth and social programs, the need for people-centered development, gender equality, and youth empowerment, changing the global context, such as increased globalization and the ICT revolution. They say increased, they just come out and say increased globalization. I hear that.
Around. There's too much time that went by, man. I gotta shit. I can't be waiting on this nigga. We need to get started right now. 2030.
They would have called us if you didn't have this here, they would have said we were conspiracy theorists. Type of language that they're using, but they're very straightforward about
what they have in store for you.
They want to colonize, and they don't want the face of colonization anymore to be white, like you said. I think they're very comfortable with using the emotions of dark-skinned people.
Black people, fuck that. Niggas who identify as black. Yeah, that's only niggas who they talking to. Yeah,
they want to play on the emotions to route up. You guys have whitey. We all have a common enemy. And you guys come over here to do what though?
DACA programs and shit.
and you know what's interesting too? I see that nothing that they are asking for is anything that we haven't been asking for here. I mean, when you look at the civil rights movement, they were asking for social programs too. So like you're trying to uproot people from here to go there to just do the same
to be in the same situation. Really worse because you being rude under them niggas, you ain't got to make a way to make $1, man. Shout out to the homie from Trap Flicks, man. He said, show me any one of you back to Africa niggas that ever went to Africa and made $1,000 from niggas being a patron to your business. Show me anybody. Show me. And he said, y'all seen I done been out there. That nigga been out. He was an advocate for it. But he said, you can't make no money. They not going to spend with you. They just want your money. They ain't spending no money with you, man. He said, show me one nigga that made $1,000. The Africans came and spun with him. And he was able to save $1,000. Give me one.
Well, you know, I think that's why they're trying to pivot from the whole Wakanda idea of investing, and they're trying to pivot to resorts now because they realize that most of your wealth is going to be built outside of the continent, and then you can bring your money into the continent to experience this exotic, you know, destination type of feel. But you know, like I said, these dreams and these ideas that get pushed through Hollywood and stuff is like, you kind of have to look at what, you know, the Africans are trying to do now. And it's kind of similar what Caribbeans had to come to realization that their strongest whole point is going to be tourism. And they're trying to preach to us that it's going to be our prosperity of our connecting and global dominance. But it's really just tourism that the average African is going to, in the future, can make money from. Because like I said, America and a lot of these other nations like Dubai and etc., this is where the big money is going to be at. Right. Most of your rich Africans are not trying to live in Africa.
They gone. They gone.
Trying to make their money out.
They in Canada, they in Dubai.
Yeah.
Man, man, that's where all the ballers go. Or they gonna have a spot, but they are not sitting around in no motherfucking Africa. Not at all. If they are, they, you know, that's their third or fourth home option. Just when I got a mama birthday, you know what I'm saying? Daddy birthday or marriage or something. But they ain't fucking with that. They trying to go get some money. They call Houston baby Nigeria. That's how many Nigerians. And if you know anything really about the continent, you lived around continental Africans, they ask you out top, hey, where you from? West? Where you from? East? Where you from? North? South? They want to know, okay, you from West? You Nigerian, homie? But why? Because collectively, they do not fuck with Nigeria. This ain't what nobody told me. I seen this shit with my own eyes, nigga. I could play a tape. I'm in Dubai Mall. It's a group of female walk up. And I'm like, God damn, y'all looking, at least speak. So they spoke, and I'm like, oh, hey, where y'all think I'm from? I'm live. And one of the bitches told me Fulani. Another one was like, you from the States. I said, damn, I look Fulani, disrespectful. But my point was they want to know where you from. You from West? Because if you from Nigeria, they don't fuck with Nigeria. And they had a reason. They say them niggas there are very, very jealous. They're very controlling. And they had this, you know, better than you type of status. You know what I'm saying? So, but that the Nigerian ain't nothing but the black European of Africa. We're going to bounce over here real quick.
New travel ban is
now this plan that they had is 2025 year reparations. They want the reparations now. They just said fuck ADOS, LBA, the Freedmen's, and all that other shit, nigga. They want it, and they way cooler. They in them political positions. They in them spots. They hanging out with the Democrats. They're part of the Democratic Party. They're part of all of these, you know, plays that was created, you know, to get the money and the structure and infrastructure in Africa. They had a problem with the communists before. Now you got communist China in that motherfucker. And so now America trying to go back and get this relationship. That was, if the Biden administration would have been in, that's what would have happened. But Trump come in, Trump say, you know what? Nigga, fuck that DACA shit Obama had. Bringing all these niggas over here. Okay, y'all graduated. Y'all got more degrees than we have. Yeah, he came out and said, y'all got more degrees than us. take that knowledge that y'all learn from here and take it back to Africa because they need y'all. And our nigga can't be fucked up about it because they making the money over here and sending it back to Africa. No, nigga, don't just wire the money to Africa. Nigga, get your ass out of here before I freeze your bank account.
Is now in effect. As of midnight, citizens from 12 countries, mostly in Africa and the Middle East, are now barred from entering the United States. And people from 7 other nations now face new travel restrictions. So what is the impact? CNN's Kevin Liptak is at the White House tracking this one for us. And Kevin, what are you hearing from the White House about this so far?
Yeah, this could potentially affect tens of thousands of foreign nationals from those countries on that map, which the White House says has deficient screening and vetting processes for their passports. They've also identified a number of these countries as having a high rate of visa overstay in the United States. There are an additional 7 countries whose nationals could face some type of travel restriction when coming to the U.S. Now, the State Department says that this ban would apply only to those who are outside of the U.S. and don't have a visa on the effective date, which is today. They say that visa applications would continue to be reviewed as appropriate, but that applicants would be rejected unless they met some of the criteria for the exceptions to this ban. And there is.
All right. So boom. So they came out, niggas ducked. They said, okay, maybe he ain't tripping. And then this happened right here. You got it, sis.
Is Trump planning an African visa ban? African countries make
trouble.
Of
Africans are infuriated. Them niggas look like Mexican. They finna go out there waving RBG flags every goddamn well because this nigga finna blow the whole play up. So we've been working since 1960s, man, to get this shit going. We done got funding from other Democratic presidents in the past, such as JFK, as we've seen, Billy Clinton, you know, but even Obama was the first president to speak at a AU meeting. First thing he came in there and said, I am proud of my African descent. Bars. Yeah, I stand before you as an African because I have an African father. He was the first president to speak at the UN, at the AU. Now, okay, my bad, just turn up.
Okay. It says here, I'm squinting again, y'all. Bear with me.
Yeah, I gotta figure this shit out because it did that in the trees too.
Okay. The United States President Donald Trump could significantly expand his travel ban list in the next few weeks to include 36 more countries, 26 of which are in Africa.
Where?
26 are in Africa. So that means 10 of them are not.
African, man.
That's crazy.
Pan-African. Pan-African. If y'all don't know this shit is over with, nigga, boy, Trump then came out here and told you nigga birthright citizenship was for niggas already in America. He told niggas in his first term, y'all built the White House, y'all need to really go learn y'all history. You feel me? At his inauguration, he had them boys dying from the Delta down there stumping, playing drums, that real American culture. And yeah, that nigga threw a Black History party, nigga, and had all of the bad sorority sisters and goddamn motherfuckers out there, man. Yeah, that nigga put on the best Black History performance since we seen since colonial time in the White House.
Yep. It says with 10 countries already included on Trump's initial list, citizens of 36 of Africa's 54 nations can now be banned fully or partially, 26 of which are in, wait, where am I? I'm getting lost. All right, here we go. From entering the U.S., the new list takes effect. This would make Africa the most banned region of the world. That's crazy.
They don't want to, boy. That nigga playing all these years. They been working. 40 years with the OAU.
Wow.
And then now since down to 20-something years with the AU, and nigga Trump say, bitch, it's time to go home. Pack it up, time to go home.
It says the visa bans are part of Trump's promise immigration crackdown, which has been in motion since he took office in January.
Yes, ma'am.
Which has already seen citizens of 19 countries in Africa and the Middle East banned and severely restricted from entering the U.S.
In the memorandum sent to the U.S. representative in affected countries on June 14th, which was the other day, Marco Rubio said governments of those countries had been given 60 days to meet the standard dictated by the Department of State. The memo also requested those countries provide an initial action plan in line with meeting with those measures by June 18th. That deadline has now passed. Check. It is unclear if any of those countries have submitted the request plan of action. Because, bitch, if you send it after the deadline, I'm going to look at it when I get time. Yeah, obviously it wasn't that important to you. Or I don't know what Democrats you've been listening to, because they've been giving that bad advice. They say they gonna harbor the motherfucking they say they gonna harbor the aliens. Yeah, they gonna what they call them sanctuary cities. Yeah, Tom Homan them came in there and said your ass going to jail. Yeah. All right, sis, you got it.
UN forum tackles slavery reparations for Africa and people of African descent.
Hold on, my bad. I apologize. One last thing. My bad. Let me get this over with. Damn, okay. I'm jumping the gun. Hold on, this is not it. Let me get him out of there. Boom. Hey, y'all, jump on the like button, support the show. We got a Cash App now, nigga. We've been out of Cash App for a while. Y'all support the show. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all share this out. Because a lot of people, you know, understandably, they came out what the hell going on. But we just wanted to put some paint where it ain't and, you know, let you know who you dealing with, how you end up in this. And every nigga that still got black in anything, in a part of anything that they tied to, understand this is directly your own doing, nigga. You don't have to be in this boat. You chose to be in this boat for some shit you believe that a nigga gave you. You just didn't know that it was gonna turn around, nigga, and send your ass into a burning building, nigga, like Malcolm did, nigga. But Malcolm was real enough to apologize. What these Pan-African teachers did now?
Hey, Martin did that.
Yeah, Martin, my bad. What these Pan-African teachers did now? They sitting around arguing about the travel ban because they got plays and money and hotels and different shit over there and investment, and nigga, they might can't get to the money. And you know how them African niggas do. I ain't saying you, nigga. I ain't got it. What happened to my shit? Nigga, come back. You had a seafood restaurant, nigga. That bitch that turned into a Jollof factory, nigga. And you talking about nigga hear from you. Yeah, nigga, Trump started tripping, nigga. I said, I found a new partner. Let's walk.
The African Union has hit back after half of the countries on the new U.S. travel ban list are located on the continent. In a statement, the AU Commission called on Washington to adopt a more consultative approach and warned of a negative impact on broader diplomatic relations. U.S. President Donald Trump has justified the ban as a national security issue after calling Somalia a terrorist safe haven. Its citizens have expressed their outrage.
The problems that drove migrants to leave Somalia persist. It's a major issue. And this decision is a humiliation for U.S. Somalis.
Many Somalis live in the United States, including members of our family. I call on the U.S. president to end the travel ban and allow Somalis to live there proudly.
The decision to include the Republic of Congo has left officials puzzled.
The Congo is neither a terrorist country, nor does it harbor any terrorists, nor is it known for its terrorist activities. We believe that this is a misunderstanding.
Washington.
Damn, Africa, that's y'all chief? Shit, y'all nigga thugging. Y'all wondering why the villages look like this, nigga. That nigga standing up there smelling like a whole lot. That nigga smelling like Baccarat, nigga. And these niggas needed a little 2 shots of it.
Claims the visa overstay rates for
that nigga in some slacks and a button up, and nigga, it's Tuesday. Yeah,
Congolese nationals as well as citizens from Chad are unacceptable.
That nigga out of Houston, Texas jersey on number 24. I don't remember that nigga. That nigga, that's an old Houston, Texas jersey.
In the U.S., some Americans
third playoff Texas jersey.
say they're not surprised the ban is back.
It's Trump. He's a renowned racist, and he's trying to make America white again, not make America great again, which is very sad and scary, considering that this nation was built on different nationalities and immigrants.
The only exception, athletes who've qualified for the upcoming FIFA World Cup and Olympic Games, which will be held in the United States.
At least 5.
You know, I think it's interesting what that last lady said, and this is
which part?
Who the country is built by. You know, because
damn, I ain't kissed that.
She said that it's built by different immigrant groups. But here's the reality of it, and this is the problem I have with the other lady, Arikana, if I'm saying that correctly, is they keep forgetting about the American Indian.
Yeah.
They never acknowledge the indigenous people who were enslaved. They never acknowledge the indigenous crops, land that was stolen. They don't acknowledge the fact that whether these immigrant groups built whatever they built, you still built it on somebody's home.
Yeah. You
Hello?
ain't at home.
And now you're demanding a place on somebody's home. And then saying that the white man is racist, but you want a piece of the colonization too. So
check.
Which one is it?
You want to slice of that American pie.
Yeah. Basically, it comes back down.
Out the way.
It comes back down to the Berlin Conference. Because remember the Berlin Conference, it's not that y'all upset that Africa got split up. You just upset that you was not in on the conversation.
You didn't get the pay.
You didn't get your cut.
Niggas from the AME church was there. Massachusetts niggas was there. Boston niggas. Jersey niggas was there. New York niggas was in the building. Huh? So they go to Elmina, go to Cape Castle. All of them niggas down there, they got stocks in those companies that's down there. Yes, niggas in America was getting paid off that shit. Yeah. So the question arose, why would a nigga from Philadelphia be mad if some white boys sliced Africa into a pie? Unless a nigga fucking with his bag. That's the only way you finna fly to motherfucking London, nigga, and go talk about it, because that's where they was at.
I mean,
go to where they say to colonize it, and they having all of the meetings about Africa taking place in London. Ain't that about a bitch?
But even if you go back, like I said, we're talking about the scramble of America, right? And there was a time point where you had the French in the Midwest into the southern Midwest region. You had Russia over there by Alaska to Northern California. The Spaniards were in the mid to the southern half of California down to Mexico. Then you had the Brits on the East Coast. So this scramble, this happens. This is a reoccurring thing that happens throughout history, where people start scrambling to take down a continent. And what I don't appreciate, right? And what I don't appreciate with the immigrants of this generation is that they just, like I said, they just want comfortability in someone else's oppression, and they don't want to acknowledge that. So they think that because they can't get their papers to sit, like, well, what do you want? What are you trying to get? Why don't you want to go home and build your nation up? Why don't you want to be powerful? Why do you settle for crumbs from the World Bank? I'm just trying to figure, like, what's the end game? like you guys don't
know end game. The end game is to get niggas out the way and shit, nigga. We want America for ourselves. This bitch is beautiful. Yeah, I don't want to go home. Yeah, nah, please don't send me back home. Boy, them men get mad in the motherfucker. I told you, my top man won. They got him. ICE got him. That nigga was selling 4 tires for $100. Yeah, they done caught old Warren. He gone back to El Salvador. I'm fucked up about it. I wrote a letter. Said he's a good stand-up citizen. He should be back. Yeah. That nigga got the community, nigga. Everybody, we don't never need tires over here. All right, we're gonna jump on it. You got it. This comes from the United Nations, y'all.
Okay, so this is the UN Forum. It tackles slavery reparations for Africa and people of African descent.
And this is 2025, y'all.
Squint. That's real tiny.
Okay, I got it. The urge greater collaboration between government, civil society, and regional organizations to create a system that will compensate Africa and the African diaspora. This is the UN talking. For the not no grassroots reparations. All right. So for the diaspora, for enduring legacies of colonialism, enslavement, apartheid, genocide between the 16th and 19th century, Africa was under siege, said Hillary Brown, speaking on behalf of the Caribbean community, CARICOM, which is their reparations. They reparations organization about the 300 years of enslavement, exploitation on the continent. Her political, economic, and social system thrown in chaotic instability as Europe plundered the continent for the most valuable assets, her people. Partnership and justice. She highlighted the strength, partnership, CARICOM, and the African Union. So the Caribbean reparations are tied in with the African Union, whose 2025 theme is what? Justice for Africans and the people of African descent through reparations. With the strengthening partnership with the AU, the global reparation movement is a defining moment, inflection point marked by a united global African finally coming together to speak with one voice on seeking justice for Africans and people of African descent. One voice, huh? Do we get a voice? Shit. Where are they having these meetings? We ain't, do you got to call in to the show? God damn. Mr. Brown called a clear diplomatic and advocacy strategy to advance the agenda through the joint action in the United Nations, the Commonwealth, and the intergovernmental bodies and high-level forum of reparatory justice. She highlighted the need to negotiate with the entities that benefited from African enslavement. The government, the universities, the church, the private sector represent African Union Commission on the panel. Angela O'Donnell said the 55 members of AU block, 55 members, so it's 55 African nations that's together on that. So countries block, they want a collective approach towards seeking regrets. In 2025, delegates at a reparations summit in Ghana, they having reparations summit in Ghana as if Ghana, niggas went slave trading out of Ghana, agreed to create a global reparation fund, which would be based off of the African continent, not American. Few other details have yet been decided. But today's conversation also shifted the attention to the importance of civil society to fight for reparations. Now, Ty, I'm gonna call her Ty, goddamn, the director of the United States Reparation Education Project, said, so why the fuck you got an African over the director? It's an African over the United States-based Reparation Education Project. Ain't that a bitch? They got an African over it. And so why you think the African, I think they fuck around and get reparations. Said it was not government, but the unstoppable five people that ignited the global movement for reparations, referring to civil society leaders such as Queen Mother, Audley Moore, Marcus Garvey, Mr. Field spoke enthusiastically about the diaspora grassroots fight for justice, characterizing African children as displaced but never disconnected. She noted that the fourth permanent forum of people of African descent, which started on Monday, will continue to Thursday at the UN headquarters and can continue to be a space where civil society and government meets equally, helping to shape, not shadow, global reparations. Now, the United Nations support on this. The discussion was moderated by the permanent forum, who called the reportory justice a critical and urgent global priority. Woo! But they've been doing 40-year investigations and research. This nigga here say they need an urgent global priority with a welcome the current chairman of the permanent forum, Martin Kamani. The UN has acknowledged that slavery and the transatlantic slave trade were crimes against humanity and also called for remedial action. That's why I say they fuck around and give you niggas reparations to these niggas because you out here fucking with that black shit. You got put in the pot some shit you done joined some shit a nigga you don't even know nothing about started. And you done jumped in there. When niggas get in gangs, they tell you get a choice, homie. You trying to be a part of something you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to do with you. You don't know how it started. That's why they make you know you're lit, you're knowledge, all this type of shit. So, but you just joined some shit and you fighting hand and feet. And you just been walked in the burning building. You the nigga that got caught out there. So right now, the United Nations acknowledged that slavery, that shit was a crime and it needed remedial action. The remarks prepared him for the opening permanent forum. Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez said the international community must strive for reportory justice framework grounded in international human rights law, develop the inconclusive, meaningful participation in effective communities that redress the past wrongdoing and acknowledge not just past harms, but ongoing injustice resulting racism. Remedial actions are also mentioned during the Durban Declaration Program of Action, which is adopted by members of the State World Congress against racial discrimination, and held by the United Nations in Durham, South Africa. That was 2001 what they were speaking on. But the UN, they have the UN support, and this is 2025, and the UN tackles slavery, reparations for African people of descent. They are getting behind this 2025 African Union wants your reparations. Talk to them. What you got?
Whew.
Yeah, that was a lot. I mean, they said nothing about the nigga.
You know, the reason why
I'm scared they finna get them niggas all money.
Nah, let me say something, because this is something that we talked about a few times with some of the groups on Twitter, Clubhouse, wherever. A white person can be of African descent. An Asian person can be of African descent. See, this is vague filibustering language that doesn't really address atrocities that have actually took place to certain groups of people. It's like it's just a bunch of nonsense. And you know, when I actually read about the opinions of people when they think of what they think about the African Union, what they think about some of the things that they are proposing they're going to get accomplished. Most of the Africans who are very honest don't really see much coming out of the AU. So even with this UN proposition of reparations, Like, what is an African descent? Like, what is that? Like, you got to define that more, you know, and you know, just like Black, you know, it's a lot of people that identify as Black, but not everybody has the story that may have actually harmed them with the colonialism in some sort of fashion. So it's like all of this stuff is just really time wasting. It's a bunch of just fill it in the blanks until they rush it into the 2053, trying to take away the economic wealth, trying to turn people into permanent underclasses that just work, you know, and now you're competing with jobs with AI now. So like I said, I don't really see this going anywhere. I don't see them getting any money. I do want to address here that when you talk about the Caribbean reparations, you know, CARICOM has been already trying to address the atrocities that happened there. Majesty King Charles III, he already had a speech where he expressed sorrow and he apologized to the Commonwealth leaders. And this was back in like 2022, but they're not going to address compensation. Like, is this not going to happen? Until we get those numbers of the
not with us, they'll talk to them because shit, they on the same team. I said they talk to them niggas cool. They on the same team.
Look, if we here's the problem. Being that the intra-American slave trade doesn't have numbers that their claim have been recorded, you can't really put who's who in the story of being wronged and unjustly being enslaved. So it's like you can't just go from one piece of history and then paint that picture, and then you just want to leave out a big old blank piece of history over here. You have to talk about this other slave trade that is the more prominent slave trade. You have to talk about it, and I think that's the only way that slavery is and reparations is going to be taken seriously. But as long as you keep playing it, like you said, this Black and this African descent game, there's so many people who fit that now. Like, who's getting addressed now?
They're in the position, as we see, the goddamn reparation advisor is African. So why wouldn't they want to give the money to their people?
But what is the money that they're gonna get? Because when you actually listen to some of the speeches about reparations from the AU, they're pretty much really calling for artifacts to come back. They calling for like we talked about earlier, social programs. It's not money. Like, no checks are not going to be
infrastructure. They want infrastructure, shit like that.
Yeah, you ain't getting no cash check dealing with the.
Now they might cut them a check because, you know, like we seen with Bill Clinton in the $600 million, and then that shit start being annually. But watch this here. Hold on, I got one more for you for the road. Okay, you remember that one?
Yeah. That's what we're touching on. That you know, trying to deplete the Black American wealth to about 2053 by 2053. And I'll read a little bit of it. The study predicts a huge and growing gulf between white U.S. households and everyone else could be disastrous for future. Okay, so but here's the problem with that. You know, when you look at the median net worth of a white man, a white American man to a Black American man, it's not that far of a difference now. You know, the wealth gap is actually putting everybody on a even playing field very soon. It's really just going to be the poor versus the rich very soon in this country. So that, you know, they put the race thing in there because, like I said, they like to play on the emotions, and they know in America racial conversations and topics is like an eye catcher. But
for black people,
for black people, exactly, for black people,
yeah.
It's you got to put white in there, and then it makes you feel you know, defeated, I guess. But the reality is that everybody, if you ain't got your stuff together by 2030, yeah, you finna be at the bottom of the bottom. So let me see. I'm gonna read to the bottom. It says here, I'm trying to see that bottom part. Scroll up. Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It says, growing up in the projects of Baltimore in the 1980s, things like savings account, stocks, and bonds were completely foreign to Maisha Hamilton. Asked if her parents could have passed along some money to help her buy a car, go to school, or put into her house. She can't help but chuckle. No, that wasn't there. There was no wealth. My mother was working and she was providing. We weren't on the street begging, but there was no money in terms of here you go, no money passed down. Now 48, Hamilton is on a path to a different reality, working as a medical office manager and earning her college degree. The mother of 5 manages to segue away $50 a month by furiously clipping coupons and being extremely frugal. $50.
That's some bullshit. Yeah, that's some bullshit. Yeah, that's a man. Yeah, but the point of it was that they say that our wealth, we gonna basically by 2053, niggas in America gonna be broke. You feel me? And that was at the time when they were bringing in the immigrants. So that was their plan, to push them, just like they did the YT and everybody else that came here, over us, you know, especially during the civil rights era. And after that, as we seen the Chinese and Arabs and shit take over the stove, the businesses in the community and these types of things, you know. But overall, let me get your last thoughts on this.
I mean, I've kind of already gave my thoughts as far as you know, they're gonna come up if this doesn't work. There's gonna be a new plan. I did want to share something quickly. No, I don't want to share my screen. I'm not gonna share my screen.
Okay.
I'll just read something about, you know, just 2 things. In the year 1900, U.S. Congress, there was a man named A.G. Greenwood, and he wanted to finance the immigration of the entire Negro population to the Philippines. He believed the Black American has more education and drive to run the country with its lucrative natural resources over the natives. This move would have put Black Americans to be powerful in a rich nation of people in the Pacific Islands. And it will also help Blacks trade. Well, it will pretty much open up the trade routes with the United States and Russia and China. So this was in the year 1900, when they was trying to figure out, like I said, there's always been this question on what we're going to do with the Negro population and how can we use them as a buffer class in these other continents and other countries to instill American or United States imperialism, you know. And the last thing I want to share, and I encourage, you know, people to definitely read this document. It's actually called The Future of the Colored Race. And I just want to read an excerpt of this book. The book is by, let me get the name of the guy in case anybody wants to read it. Well, it's not a book, it's an article. It was written in 1862, and the man name is William Aikman. It's called The Future of the Colored Race. I would definitely, you know, encourage anybody to read this. But in his article, he's gonna do this prediction of Black Americans' slavery, or the American slavery is gonna be the gateway to the future of a prosperous Africa. Okay, so I'll read this quickly. 1 second, let me make sure I get the right one. Okay, so go ahead. What you were saying?
Now I was just gonna say real quick. The sister say this just go to show us in Black and white Democratic Party was working against FBAs alone. I want to say this here, Mama, about the FBAs, and this ain't no knock to Tariq or nothing. But I'm saying, when you holding on to that black, you got black in there, all of this is like you become the problem because that's their way in through the black. That's what brings us all together. So we've been saying it for years. Nigga need to drop that black shit because y'all keep getting us in situations like this. And we ain't gonna win because black is political, and a lot of these niggas with these black agendas or messages are not in political positions or to even go lobby and get any bills or anything passed. They can't do nothing but what they doing, sit on the internet and pop their shit. That's it. Ain't no results gonna come out of that. But a bunch of people losing a lot of money for supporting conversation and not real action and solutions. So yeah, I would say that to you, Miss D, that you can be a foundational American and it'll still mean the same thing. When you put the black on it, you were saying that somebody was here before us. So that's if you foundational American, as soon as you put the black on there, then you in the trick bag and they got you. And that's where they want you at. Because again, they created that in the back room and they didn't ask our vote. And we accepted it. So when they come bring all these laws and all this other shit down on us, this 20-25 year reparations shit for Africans on us, black niggas can't say nothing because these niggas came out here and pushed a black message and put it on the people and tied us and put us in bed with these people and also set us back and put us in a position to lose every time because the board is rigged. We do not own that black shit. We did not choose to be a part of it. That shit's gonna tie you directly to African Caribbeans and this third world coalition of an idea about some niggas they had that did not work for them. And so why must we keep using the shit that didn't work and feel like we gonna get out of the position that we in? But shout out to you, Miss D. My bad, sis, you can finish. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, so the last thing I just want to share from that document or that article, it just quickly says that so Africa begins to be known by and by. It will be opened up and made ready, we think, to link its history with a people on the other side of the ocean. And I just want to once again clarify that this article was written in, once again, 1862. This was prior to the Civil War. So there's no naturalization yet. They're throwing theories around on what's going to happen from the outcome of this Civil War and this idea of opening up Africa. It says here, leaving the point as proof that the blacks are to remain at least for an indefinite period in this country. We do not say that it will be forever, but of this we shall speak in another place. We naturally ask whether there is anything in the African character that is possible of future progress and elevation. We answer there are natural characteristics which will be very marked and peculiar way be a means of their speedier rise. It has been a misfortune, if so we may call it, of the African continent and the African people to be present their worst and most repulsive aspects first. So just to kind of give a quick little summary of that, what I just read is that pretty much, I said this in the beginning, the Negro question has never really been answered, never been answered. They have tried their hand. Like I said, they tried to send some Black Americans to Central America at one time to colonize, and Nicaragua, and that failed. They tried Liberia. That didn't turn out well. They threw around the idea of Hawaii and the Philippines.
Haiti.
Yeah, they tried so many places to send these, we're going to call them Black Europeans because that's what they were. They were trying to find their place to make them the buffer class in these different places. And now they have settled their sights on Africa. And they have settled it because this is the last frontier. Like, it's like, where else would you send these so-called Black elites to have their prosperity, to finally have a seat at the table? And like the past, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen.
Ain't gonna work. I ain't never seen a bunch of niggas get together and some shit work. So yeah, and them greedy niggas. So, yeah, they ain't gonna do nothing but switch on their own people. A lot of them people in that OAU was assassinated. We gotta remember that. Why do niggas get assassinated? Because I put you in place as soon as you go against it, bang bang. I'm gonna get you out of the way. Shout out to Martin Luther King. Yeah, shout out to JFK. That type of shit. Yeah, we put you in this position and we'll take it. Mega Evans, you know what I'm saying? Them niggas were holding their shit at the Masonic Lodge. They hit him in his front yard. You know what I'm saying? Straight hit. So yeah, when they make you, Gaddafi, what's the other nigga out of Iraq? What's the nigga out of Iraq? Saddam Hussein.
Okay.
Yeah, we Bin Laden. They made all these niggas.
Right.
As soon as you go against the grain, well, I'm done with the play. We're gonna erase you. That part. But man, Shan got you back on the field, man. How does it feel to be back on the field?
Well, as y'all heard earlier, so I'm a mom. I got 3, so it's a lot. I'm trying. You pushing me out there. I'm trying, but I definitely do the best I can to keep up to date with everything that's happening. And I reached out to you and I said, nah, they getting out of control now. They getting bold with this.
This shit.
Out of control.
And we go back 3-4 years ago. It's like everything we said was gonna happen is happening, and it's like, but niggas chose to go follow behind these other niggas because they had big platforms and all that shit. And now you end up in the situation, nigga, that you can't win. And so, hey, man, y'all choose wisely, use discernment, man. And, hey, man, find yourself in the story, you did. With that being said, man, shout out to my sister, Shan. Her book dropped tomorrow. Y'all make sure y'all go cop that. What's the title again and where they can find it?
Yes.
What you gave us a thumbs up? What was that, a thumbs up?
We did a good job today. But yes, it's called The Velvet Door. And this is going to be volume 1. You can definitely catch it on Amazon. It should be live. You can follow me on Twitter at The Velvet Door as well. I'm on Instagram, _Velvet Door as well. And definitely, I love posting up historical threads, current events. Is everything that Chief does, I do too. So,
turn up.
Period. So
female Topcatz, turn up.
So I appreciate, once again, I appreciate the love. Feels good to be back on the screen again, and I hope to see y'all around again. I gotta go be a mommy again now.
I appreciate you. I apologize for taking up so much of your time, but it was glad we can get you in the building, man. And I know the family, glad to see you. So be cool like you be cool. Go back to your mama, do this. And when you're ready, we'll be here. You probably ain't going nowhere. All right. Man, y'all, hold up. I got too much drink in my cup. Man, hold up. Got too much drink in the cup. How y'all feel? So, man, nigga wanted to come through, drop a little news you can use. I heard, this topic, is going on too long, and I'm hearing people speak more out of emotion, than understanding. And so just wanted to come bring a little understanding. Like I say, I ain't started this. I worked on a couple slides last night, had a couple moves to make today, but we were still able to get the message out. And I do think it's more detailed than what others brought, by giving the origins and the inner workings and how this shit tie together, so you won't come out here feeling like a victim or somebody did you something, but with understanding the role that you played in allowing this, or even have given this the opportunity to manifest or develop. You feel me? And we keep, falling behind these false leaders. I ain't calling no names out of no shit like that, but I'm just saying, it's people that may have good intentions, but the decisions that they're making for us And people that are influenced by these messages are being set back constantly. You know what I mean? Niggas investing and putting money in this shit and ain't getting no return. Not niggas getting messages and ain't getting no, at the end of the day, I'll say this here, man. A lot of these things are hurting us and not helping. And one of the most significant things is this black. Black is crack. Black associated with crack, genocide, gangster shit, poverty, over sexualization, diminishing our women, broken homes and families, drugs, and all of the above. You did. The fuck we want to be associated with that for? That's what black is. And you can say, okay, all around the world, they try to mimic us. But when they mimic us, they mimicking the nigga shit. The shit that's called black culture. And then they turn around and they got something called black excellence. But that's niggas like Roland Martin. That's niggas like Al Sharpton and all of that. So if you black and they black, then you the same thing, homie. If you don't represent what Sharpton them represent, nigga. Sharpton on some black shit. Roland Martin on some black shit. You on some black shit. So you tell me who won. I see them, they run. Tupac shit, man. Hey, bring it on in. Y'all know how this go, man. As long as we got each other, we don't need nobody else. As long as we got each other, we don't need nobody else. You dig? Any gang don't bang, homie, or get bang bang. I want to share this with y'all. Hey, check it out. We gonna do the slave trade joint with David Elton. So we're gonna do a pay-per-view on that. I'm gonna get that shit out, man. For those who want to see it, it's 2 hours. It's in documentary form. I guess I'll put the link up tonight, man. First 100 niggas get in. After that, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Catch it in the slave trade drop. Well, I'm gonna put in extra shit from my travels. You feel me? In the course. But y'all can get that. We're gonna drop that probably Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So you niggas got a week. First come, first serve. Y'all know you can only get 100. Don't end up like last time, them niggas that didn't get no shine in the blind, you dig? And they can come in there and rock out with everybody. But man, I love y'all. I only got to tell you, when nobody else. Any gang it don't bang, man. Execute, homie. I'll work. Easy motherfucking work. You dig?
This time, and I'll be lying, 'cause only the thing that's saving you is the heart of a woman. I don't really wanna stay, I don't really wanna go, but I really need to know. Can we
get it together? Get it together. Late night. Y'all got me up on the late night. I need to get my ass to bed. Get it together. Get what?
You don't know the pain that I feel. You've taken my love for granted and you just wanna see it your way.
It's about that
time. I'm gonna tell you what's on my mind. I'm fed up with you not being here with me.
Sweet no love is all I need. I don't Can we get together?
Can we get it? Yeah.
And I don't really want to stay.
Don't want to stay. Get together. Let's get together, babe.
I can't let go. Cause
Confusion takes control. We can start brand new. Cause I don't wanna lose you. Oh no.
With the love we share, baby, it's no story. I'm willing to try and make you see that all you need is you and me. I don't want to I don't want to let me know how you feel. Don't want but I gotta let you let it go. Just how you feel, yeah. I don't want to stay. I don't want to stay. And I don't want to go. Hold up. Let's get it together. I don't really want to. Yeah. I say. Oh, with it.
See, I'm so confused. I just don't know what to do. I don't understand. Oh. You know I don't wanna stay.
You know I don't wanna go. Baby, please, this is to me. I don't want it. I don't really want to stay. Can we get together? I hope. Big T. We gone. I love y'all.